Good evening, my name is Richard. This is the Arsenal Women's Show on over and over and over again. It isn't Friday. We're having to have a little reshuffle about on a few of these shows this season, but it is going to be a great show for you tonight. We are going to be looking back on the Everton game last Sunday. There's got to be a lot to talk about from last night's game in the Champions League against Bayern Munich as well. Of course, on Saturday, we have got Chelsea are visiting the Emirates in the WSL. And of course, next week, it's our second Champions League game against Valerenga. So loads and loads and loads to get through. So let's get cracking. The Arsenal Women's Show. Good evening, everybody, and of course, evening to our fantastic, as always, Andreas. Good to see you. How are you feeling today? A bit better than last night, I'm sure.
Good evening, everybody. I feel better than last night, but you can't still forget what happened yesterday. It was so embarrassing, so disappointing, but we'll talk about this later.
We will indeed. And am I as well? Good to see you, my friend. Are you okay this week? You recovered from last night?
Huh? Yeah, I recovered from last night. It was always in one. It was a fun night to forget. But anyway, hopefully being back here and hopefully to look forward to the game I'm coming on Saturday, which I'm able to watch, is gonna maybe spark a change in fortunes. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's just take each game as it comes.
Indeed, that is all we can do. And following a fantastic debut last week, welcome back to the show. Here, of course, we've got a lord and a lady. It's Ange. How you doing?
Yes, I'm really positive.
I'm sure you are. You're positive. I'm positive because that game's over from last night, so I'm positive.
Well, get
That's
that.
the main thing, isn't it? But anyway, before we get on to last night, there was, of course, a game on last weekend as well, which didn't go much better, really, did it? I suppose, but. It's the only place we can start, going back to, of course, the Everton game. Now, obviously, we should have won the game. We expected to win the game. We said that on the show last week. Now, for me, and maybe I'm looking at it totally wrong, but I think that one of the problems of the quick growth in the club, moving to the Emirates and playing most of the games there, when it comes to the big games, I think the Emirates is an advantage. When it comes to the lesser teams, when there's only 20,000 or whatever it is in the Emirates, I don't think it is an advantage. Had we played at Meadow Park, I think we beat Everton. And I'm not using that as an excuse. We should beat them at the Emirates. Let's get it real. We should beat them at the Emirates. But the Emirates isn't an advantage when the grounds are quarter full. It's an advantage when there's 45,000, 50,000, 60,000, of course, massive advantage. The club have thought about the money. There's no advantage to playing Everton at the Emirates, West Ham at the Emirates, Leicester at the Emirates. There's no real advantage to us to do that, other than the fact the club can make more money because they can sell more tickets. You're better off playing at a packed Meadow Park, sell out Meadow Park with that intimate atmosphere for these type of games. And I think we would have won that game at Meadow Park. We've beaten Everton at Meadow Park every time we played them. How often do we lose a game there? Very rarely. And I think we're trying to run before we can walk. It's all very well saying, let's play the games at the Emirates. We've sold out against Chelsea. We've sold out against Wolfsburg. Yeah, brilliant. We're never going to sell out against Everton. We're never going to sell out against West Ham. We're never going to sell out against half of the teams that we'd be playing at the Emirates. And I'm not sure if that's, other than a financial decision, I'm not sure it's a benefit to the team. Now, we should have won the game anyway. And, regardless, we could have played it over the park and still should beat Everton, right? In front of no fans because we're a better team than them. But we couldn't on the day. And there's lots of reasons for that, I know. But I don't know. I kind of looked at it on Sunday and I was thinking to myself, are we really ready to be playing most of our games at the Emirates when we're getting 20,000? And 20,000 is better than 4,000 at Meadow Park, don't get me wrong. It means more people can watch the game. But are we really ready for that step up now? Have we tried to rush into it because we've had a few sellouts? I mean, Andreas, I know that's not the reason why we didn't win the game, but I don't think it helped. Do you think had we played at Meadow Park, we may well have won?
For me, this is searching for excuses. It's no matter where we play. we have the better squad. We must beat a team like Everton. And remember 3 or 4 seasons ago, during the COVID times, we played behind closed doors, and there was 0 attendance, and we won these games. It's an excuse to say if we have a better atmosphere with the 4,000 at Meadow Park. It was 25,480 the attendance. That's an attendance. All clubs in the German Bundesliga are dreaming of 25,000 for a normal league match. So this was a good attendance. The atmosphere was good, but nevertheless, we must be able to break down a team like Everton, who was their only aim was not to concede and take away 1 point with a 0-0. They succeeded because we were too slow. We didn't create enough. We were uninspired in midfield, and no, our attacks. We always broke up, and back pass, then another pass, and back again. If you play always backwards, you can't score, and if you always play backwards at Meadow Park, you won't win there. So no, this is only searching for excuses, and for me, I say no excuses for this team, for this coaching staff. They must be able to perform and to win these games, and if not, then they must be so honest and say it was our fault. We didn't produce what we should be able to. Our tactics didn't work.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all, and like I said, we should beat Everton anyway. But this season, we played 5 games at home, 2 at the Emirates, which we've drawn, 3 at Meadow Park, which we've won. So that kind of tells me, and we haven't conceded a goal at Meadow Park. Yes, you can look at the opposition that we played, Rangers in the Champions League and whatever, but even so, you look at last season, the season before, our record at Meadow Park has been fantastic. We very rarely lose games and drop points there. So I'm not saying that that's the reason why we didn't win. You're right, we didn't play very well on the day. It was a very lackluster performance. It was almost like Jonas said in his press conference about the scheduling of the games, and 3 games in 6 days is ridiculous at that level of football. We shouldn't have to go through that when Chelsea had a weekend off. But we almost went into that game as though that's what the players felt. It's too much of a schedule. We can't do it. They almost went out. It looked like they'd gone out with that kind of mindset to me, and that's the wrong mindset. You've got to go to the next game that you've got and go out and give everything to win it. Not make excuses. We've got another game Wednesday. We've got another game Saturday. It doesn't matter. Forget that. Play this one. It's almost like we were thinking further ahead than we needed to. It looked like it. It looked like as though we were going through the motions a little bit. It was slow. It was ponderous. We created very little until the last 5 minutes, when suddenly everybody thought, "Hang on a minute, there's not much time left. We had our ideas up. We should have got our ideas up after 10 minutes. We might have won the game." But yeah, I mean, you're right, absolutely. It was a poor performance. It really was a poor performance. And yeah, we've got to find a way to get more out of this team, because we've got talented players, there's no doubt about that, and it's not quite working. I mean, Amar, obviously, you was at the game as well. Lovely picture of you and Andreas after the game at the Tollington, which was fantastic.
Yes, indeed.
That was probably the highlight of the day, was it? Because the game wasn't much my home ground, was it?
Oh, well, I was just seeing Andreas and going a drink, discussing the game. I wish we could have stayed a bit longer. We'd have seen it made even David Brighton coming back from behind to beat the Spuds as well. But unfortunately, I had to go home. So, I didn't stay that. But, could just sense from where I was sitting, atmosphere was very flat. And I don't know, I agree with you. You do make a point of saying, with regards to playing all the bigger, it's good to, I think everyone says, we have outgrown Meadow Park. When you see a lot of other, when you see the away fans, for example, there were hardly any away fans in the crowd. And I think it's not just the fact that we may not be quite ready to play there, but yeah, it seems as if for the big games, we get the atmosphere, the crowd gets behind the team. We can see like what happened with Manchester United last season, what happened with Chelsea. Okay, City was great, 40,000 were there. But again, I think more needs to be done for the away fans aspect as well. And maybe they should play. I think it's only Crystal Palace and 1 or 2 other teams that are playing at Meadow Park this season. So yeah, I mean, you can understand why that, because I think the players love it. They get a lot out. But I mean, it just seems so flat on Saturday. And there weren't the usual singing songs being sung, and the fans were getting frustrated. And you could just see, I don't know, it was just It just wasn't the same match for atmosphere as I went for the Manchester United game for last season, for example. So yeah, I mean, it's up for debate, but maybe they need to think about playing 1 or 2 more games at Meadow Park against, I wouldn't say, okay, not inferior opponents. That's being unkind to Everton, but yeah, maybe in future that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, there's a point here from Sam in the chat says the Arsenal women's players wanted to play more games at the Emirates Stadium. Yeah, well, if they do, then when they play there, they need to play a bit better, then, don't they? Because otherwise, we're going to end up with 10,000 watching some games later on in the season if this is the performances they're going to produce. So if they want to play more games there, when you do play there, play better. That's the way you've got to do it. It's no good saying you want to play more games there. I'd love to play at the Emirates. I'm not good enough, though. See, that's the point. And if you're not good enough to play at the Emirates, then go back to Meadow Park. You know, you've got to earn that right. It's no good saying you want to play there. Brilliant. Yeah, we all want to play there. You've got to earn that right by your performance on the pitch, or people won't pay their money to go and watch it. They won't. They'll put out of it for so long. They'll keep doing it for the time being. But eventually, they'll say, no, we're not going to keep watching boring 0-0 draws against Everton. Who wants to watch that every week? Nobody. So it's a two-way street, isn't it? It is a two-way street. It's got to work both ways. I mean, Andy, what did you make of all of that on Sunday? Because, I mean, it was such a poor, and it was an unusually poor performance, because I thought we were coming into the game on a bit of a high. I thought we would go there and play really well, and we just never got going, did we?
Well, first of all, I need to call this out because, as I've said on your show last time, and I have a bit of a soft spot for Everton and Sean Dyche, I basically cursed it. You can all blame me. I cursed it. Next. No, seriously. Well, other than the frustrations of the stream and all that jazz, let alone for you poor guys that were actually there. It was. Yeah, we were all expecting a goal fest, weren't we? It was like, we'll come on, rip them apart, and it didn't happen.
Yeah,
we didn't even get one goal. No. Although, can I just say a positive? Duff she kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that was a good positive. Much, but... a very good saying as well.
Well, I was going to say about that game. Not as nearly sad as I did watching last night, but yeah. And of course, my lovely Dutch friend was there, and she wasn't exactly happy. Next, let alone last night. That's another story. Too funny.
Well, yeah, we'll come on to last night in a minute. I mean, I suppose the Everton performance wasn't the best preparation for the game last night. I suppose was it such a flat performance and such a poor performance. I mean, it was really, really bad. We have to go back to where we were a minute ago. There you go. We can't have people changing places. It's disturbs me. But yeah, I mean, there's not much we can really say about the game because it was such a poor performance, and it was such a. I mean, yes, we still could have won. We hit the woodwork, didn't we, a couple of times, and there was a few nearly little moments, but it wasn't good enough. Let's be honest, it wasn't good enough. Nowhere near good enough. If we want to be considered title challengers and we want to win the league, performances like that aren't going to get us there. Let's be honest. And even Leicester the week before wasn't a fantastic performance. We won the game, and that's fair enough. You know, so I don't know. I'm frustrated. I think was the word for that game, wasn't it? Frustrated. I think frustration was the biggest kind of take from it, really, wasn't it? Unfortunately.
Yes, it was.
Royston says, my 2 girls are distraught after last night's result. Not a happy dad. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're not the only 2 girls that are distraught. I'm sure there's quite a few today that have been feeling exactly the same. We all have, actually. Terry says, I don't care about the stats. I only care about 3 points and being entertained like we used to be. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's fair enough. And you're right. Stats don't really matter too much today. We want to see goals. We want to see excitement. Terry says, we need to stop playing our Arteta football. Sort FC and Man City don't play that way. And always we look dangerous under this system if we're lucky for 30 minutes. Well, sometimes not even 30 minutes. Against Everton, we didn't look dangerous hardly at all, did we? It was very passive. And yeah, you're right. If this team's going to be successful in the WSL, we've got to play WSL type football. And we're almost trying to play Premier League football. Now, I don't know whether you guys saw Chloe Lacasse's interview that she gave recently about Arsenal. And one of the things that she said was about the freedom of playing football and stuff. And she said that playing for Arsenal was too technical, right? Now, to me, I think she's hit the nail right on the head there. And I don't just think it's an Arsenal problem. I think it's a WSL problem. As the WSL is trying to grow, it's like they're getting more technical coaching staff in. They're trying to make the game as technical as the men's game. And by doing that, they're taking away the kind of freedom of expression, if you like, that the women's games always had. And I think that there's a transition going on, and we're a part of that transition, and we're finding it difficult to make that transition. Maybe because we've got older players that have played before for too long, too stuck in their ways and can't adapt. And we've got some younger players who maybe are able to adapt, but it's getting that blend. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of Chloe Lacasse's comments? Because I thought they were quite interesting, actually. And I thought it was really summed up where I think women's football is at the moment in the WSL.
Yeah, she said it was too tactical, the game from Arsenal. And that's a point. I think we try to carry the ball into the net, but nobody. It's like nobody is allowed to shoot from 20 or 25 meters. Remember what bangers Katie McCabe scored 2 years ago. She's not shooting now. The only one who sometimes tries it is Frida Marnum, but not too often. And it's too tactical. And when you see, we had I think 21 shots and only 6 on goal, but we had 12 corners. Most of them were short corners. We don't make anything out of all this ball possession or something like that. And our best minutes in the Everton game were the last 10 minutes, from 85th minute to 95th. So when time was running out, you thought they throw away all tactics and just move the ball forward and try everything. Why not trying before? And also, what I have to criticize is the substitutes Jonas made. He changed position-wise. But if you have 0-0 against a team like Everton and time is running out, you must risk something. If you don't risk, you won't score. And bringing a centre back for a centre back and a left back for a left back, this doesn't solve a problem when you don't create chances. So this was a mistake from the coaching staff from Jonas. I mean, he's not alone. He has a lot of assistant coaches sitting there with their laptops, with their iPads. They must see this and react. This was the wrong reaction. And it was a match in which I said at halftime to my neighbor, I think this is a typical 0-0 match. We are offering some gifts to Everton. If they use one of them, we will lose 1-0, but otherwise it will be a 0-0. Of course, something can change in second half, but this was my impression at halftime. And unfortunately, I was right.
You usually are. So, I mean, we're not surprised you was right, because you generally are. But, I mean, I think you're right. And I think the game, and I think Chloe Lacasse is right. I think that the WSL is far more tactical and technical than it needs to be. And it's almost overcomplicating it. You know, the Premier League is like that, but men's football is maybe it's faster moving and stuff like this, and maybe it's more suited. That tactical kind of football is more suited to the men's game than maybe it is to the women's game. And I think that Chloe Lacasse has made a great point. And I think that it's just funny that come out this week when Arsenal have had the games that we've had. I mean, what do you make of what Chloe Lacasse said? Because I think she's right, isn't she? I think it is too technical now. It's too tactical rather than being more entertaining as it used to be.
Well, it's interesting because I saw it come up and I didn't have a chance to, and I will read it. But do you know what? We've lost, you're so right, we've lost that essence. It's not free-flowing enough. It really is. And it was interesting when Jonas was talking about Mariona. And we know what a talent she is. But he allows her to be more free-flowing. Why can't he allow the others to be more free-flowing?
Yeah, but even she's having to fit into the structure as well, though, isn't she? You know, she's not allowed to really express herself. She's still got to play within the structure and within the tactical plan. And I think that she's been. I mean, she's a great player. She's playing well, but you almost feel that she's maybe been a little bit restricted as well, don't you? I think slightly, not as much as some of the other players. I agree, and she's maybe given a little bit more freedom, but not enough for me. I want to see talented players be able to express themselves and play free-flowing football and not worry too much. Yeah, okay, your shape of your team might go to pot for 5 minutes where you're playing this great football, but is that more important than actually trying to win a game and entertaining the crowds that's come out to watch you play? I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a good kind of payoff, if you like, to have good structure and good shape of your team, which is important. But sometimes you've just got to say, like Andrea said, the last 10 minutes on Sunday, we went for it a little bit more. We were all a little bit all over the place, but at least it was good to watch. And you could get out of your seat and think, oh, we're going to score in a minute and something's going to happen. It didn't, but
well,
at
it
least
becomes exciting, doesn't it?
Exactly. You want to get out your seat, don't you, Ange? You want to be up there thinking,
of course you do. I mean, I can't give you this technical stuff, but I know what I feel when I'm watching our girls. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what we all want to feel, don't we? That's why we love football, for those moments, don't we? For those get out of your seat moments. And if you're not getting enough of them, you need to find another way of doing it, don't you? I'm not sure what's going on there. You've got bad internet or something.
No, my screen keeps on freezing. I don't know why. It's happened like once or twice in the last show as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay on it now. Keeps freezing. Sorry.
I mean, do you think that's right? That the sort of it's becoming more technical, the women's game, especially in the WSL. It seems to be. It's not just Arsenal. It's not an Arsenal problem necessarily. I think it's a WSL problem, and I think the more coaching staff that's coming in, more ideas, a more tactical approach seems to be taking something away that is great.
Yeah, maybe though this to do with the team's playing styles, isn't it? They want to try and embed them into that playing style and get them as up to date with it as possible, rather than maybe express themselves on the pitch and maybe take a more hands-off approach and let them do what they want. But I don't know. She also said in the interview that she was being restricted and she didn't really enjoy it as much. Whereas in NWSL now, she's starting to enjoy it more because it's closer to home. And I know it's with the caliber of and the depth of the forwards we have at the club, it was always going to be difficult, but I think she should have been used more. And who knows? It was a shame we only had one season. She was a good player while she was there, but now the fact that she's enjoying it more in Canada, this goes to show maybe we could have done more to keep her. But with regards to the technical side of things, maybe as I said, there needs to be that. Players need to be allowed to express themselves more and have that freedom rather than maybe have their tried to play to a clearly defined playing style. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's down to what suits certain players. But as I said, maybe there needs to be that more hands-off approach going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting as well. I mean, Chloe Lacasse saying that she's enjoying it more in Canada, probably because the standard of the football there is nowhere near as high. So obviously, if you're playing against players that aren't as good, you're going to enjoy it more because you're getting the ball more. You can run past four players and not worry about it, and you can score more goals and all that kind of stuff. So there's that aspect of it as well. But I did think the tactical points that she made were actually really, really important, and they were true. And I think we need to look at everybody needs to look at that and say, you know what, are we stifling these talented players, and is that the right way to go forward? And we've got an interesting question here from Joanne. She said, if any of you were a manager, how would you turn the team around? I mean, that is getting straight to the nitty gritty stuff there, isn't it? I mean, if we were manager, how would we turn it around? Andreas, if you were manager now of Arsenal with the players that we've got, how would you turn this around? This 4-runner form that we're on, obviously a big game on Saturday. What do you think is needed right now that we could do quickly to get a better response?
It's a problem of self-confidence. I think they have barriers in their mind, and it's a mental problem. They should have more freedom to play. We should play more offensively, and create more from the midfield, play faster with more pace, not always backwards. That these are things I think this would be needed for the team. Give them more freedom and tell them play attacking football and try to press the opponents more, and then quick counter attacks. Play the pass forwards and one more thing. If we play Leslie Russo, give her a clear job description. Tell her you are the number 9. You have to be in the box, and not you have to be in the box and should score goals, but you also have to play as number 10 and create. You have to play on the wings and bring on the crosses, and then you have to be the number 9 who converts the crosses you have made yourself. Now give her this job description. You are my number 9. And then give others the freedom to shoot from 20 meters and do what they feel at the moment. But most of all, play with more pace and speed, and not always backwards, not always waiting. Yeah, it's a bit of this Barcelona style, this tiki-taka. We play and play again and again and try again. Sometimes it looks like handball. You're playing around, this, and wait if there opens space, and it doesn't. So this would be important, I think, to give them more freedom. And of course, I would change the goalkeeper, but we will talk about this later. When we speak about the Bayern match. Yeah, but the most important thing is give them freedom, play with more pace, have a clear structure, have a clear number 9 striker who is in the box, and then feed them. If it's Leslie or if it's Stina, doesn't matter, but feed them, give them passes and crosses so that they can score goals.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing I would do to try and turn the team around, you mentioned it just there, obviously change the goalkeeper from last night, never ever play that goalkeeper again. So that's one change I would do. I would play Stina and Leslie together. Go, especially at home games, go for it. Play 2 strikers, like we always used to do. Play 2 strikers, and get maybe wide players to get crosses in the box. Maybe play Beth and Caitlin Ford on the wings, and 2 strikers, and go for it. We never do it because it's far too adventurous and it's far too unstructured in modern football. But that's what I would make those 2 changes straight away. I'll put Stina and Leslie together, and I'd obviously put Natalie in goal, and I think that would improve the team straight away. It would improve our chances of winning games straight away just by making those 2 changes. But he won't do it, obviously. We know that because it's very rare that it happens, but we'll see. I mean, Emma, what would you do if you was a manager now? Obviously, bearing in mind it's got to be quick changes right now because we need a response straight away. We can't fail. It's going to take 10 games. We haven't got 10 games. We've got 1 game on Saturday to turn it around.
Well, it was interesting. I heard Ian Wright on Twitter earlier. I don't know if you saw his tweet the other day when he was talking on a podcast. He says, we look robotic and we look like a mid-table club. And, it seems as if the players are not enjoying themselves, which goes to show, I mean, what is being done to motivate them ahead of these big games, That's one thing that would be really concerning for me is what if you can't motivate the players, and how do you expect to get the best out of them? I don't know. I was reading a piece as well from Subscribe to Weekly saying, has the dressing room been lost? But we won't go into that too much. Yeah. But as far as quick fixes, I would say, I mean, I don't know. For example, I've been seeing on various social media channels that Emily Fox is being overplayed. And the fact is that Laura's just been injured. We don't really have someone that can fill in for her on that position, and with all these relentless schedule that we have on our hands. And so I don't know what we'll do, but I think he's making a mistake by consistently playing Katie at left. He should be playing Steph at left because she's been class for us over the time she's been there. Put her and maybe play Katie in a more advanced role on the left hand side of midfield. And again, I've been crying out for it as well. But on Sunday, that game was crying out for somebody like Rosa Kafaji to come off the bench and make a difference. But she didn't come on, and I don't think she barely came on in the game against Bayern either. So maybe that's what needs to be changed at the Chelsea game. But I fear for us against Chelsea if we play like that. But let's just try and stay positive, and hopefully we'll see some changes being made ahead of that game.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there will be changes. I've just got to be. Oh, Ange's now disappeared. Where's Ange gone? Anyway, we'll get Ange back in a minute. I'm sure she's going away to think of what she would do if she was the manager of the game on Saturday. And we'll get some interesting comments back in a minute. But no, that was an interesting question, actually, because, I mean, it is tough, isn't it? It's difficult. We're not managers. It's difficult. I mean, maybe Andreas should be the manager after what he did. But it's difficult, isn't it, for us on the outside? We don't know what's going on at the training ground. We don't know the players themselves. We don't know who's fit, who's not fit. It's difficult for us, isn't it? We don't know what's happening, but just looking at it from the outside, I guess we can give our opinions on it, which we have. Sam says there, we all want to see the WSL improve and get better, but it can get better in a different, not make it the same as a Premier League. Exactly, yeah. I think we're in danger of WSL not being a family league. Well, no, I think you're absolutely right. I'm certainly agree with it. I think tactically as well on the pitch, but also off the pitch, I think those two things. We don't want to be another Premier League with the WSL. The WSL wants to be its own thing as it's always been. Don't follow the Premier League because that's not the way to go. and I don't want that to happen. Ange's back. I don't know where you just been to. It's good to have you back, Ange. But no, I don't. I agree with you. I don't want to see that change. Roland says, time's up for Jonas. Since we are trying to be Barcelona, let's go and get their ex-coach from America. You'd think Arsenal's
he's not going to leave. He's not going to get it. Ronaldo's not going to leave.
Well, I don't know about that. Joanne says, I used to avoid women's football. Then 2 years ago, I caught a few minutes of Man City, Lauren Hemp running and dribbling with the ball. And I realised how open, free, fresh and free of cynical. Exactly, yeah. And that's what we don't want to lose, do we? And that's my worry is that we're kind of starting to lose a little bit of that as it's growing. But maybe it's just a transition that will change. El Loco says, Arsenal have given Jonas all he wanted, players, backroom staff, Emirates Stadium. But in my opinion, this level is too high for him. Like Chelsea, we need a female coach. E.g. Carla Ward. Well, I'm not sure about Carla Ward necessarily after some of the comments she's made about Arsenal, but and I don't necessarily think a female or a male is the key. It's the right person to do the job, whether they're male or female.
Yeah.
I mean, Ange, obviously, you know, if you was manager of Arsenal, I'm sure you'd do a great job. But what would you do now to try and change this for Saturday's game?
Threaten them. I'm a woman. Worse than Hayes, I'd threaten them. Start with that dog, Miley. Oh, no, don't. Oh, sorry, no, that's a joke. Oh, gosh. Oh. Yeah, it's such an interesting concept because I really don't know what's going wrong here. I truly, truly don't. And sorry, I will call it out. I like Jonas. I think the girls like Jonas. They get him. They want to win games. Yeah, there's this quick turnaround and all that, but I don't know. I just genuinely don't know. Yeah, sorry, I'm really not the best person. Sorry, I've just had to deal with removing the spider from my daughter's bedroom. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I dealt with that one. How can I solve the Arsenal women? I really don't know. I mean, my God, I had to sort these two out in your group chat. Come on now, go to the pub. If it ain't good, go to the pub.
Well, it's about man management, isn't it? That's what it is about. You see, it's having good or women management, if you want to call it that. But you know what I mean? It's that kind of dealing with the players, and maybe that's what needs to change. Maybe they need to be dealt with.
Sorry, can I just come back? You brought up something, Rich, here. Me and my Dutch friend, and my God, if she gets on that plane and comes over Saturday, talk about motivate her. My goodness, bless her heart. And she signed up for the whole package. But I think also going back, and I will say, and she'd so back Jonas, and even now she's calling for his head. But yeah, everyone's entitled to opinion. But I can't keep up with how many coaches they've got for Arsenal women now. We've seen X amount of women come in. That's really good. And one of my all-time favourite players, my original girl, Kelly.
Yeah.
Now she's what do you call her? The striker coach. Sorry. Yeah, whatever you call her. And I love her.
Player manager.
There's a but coming. It's not happening, is it? And I don't want to call her out. I don't want to call anybody out, but I don't know. Something's not right. We know that. But I don't know what they are. Sorry, I really don't.
No, something's not working, absolutely. And, you know, without being behind the scenes and seeing what's going on, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what it is. But you're right, it's difficult to know. And you look at it and you think something isn't quite working for whatever reason. And it's something that needs to be sorted out very, very quickly, because as we've said before, you don't get a lot of opportunities in the WSL. You lose 2 or 3 games and that's gone. The season's gone and you can't afford to do that. So, yeah, that's what they're paid money for. The coaching staff, the manager, they're paid the money to figure out what is wrong and to put it right. That's what their job is. Our job is just to watch them and criticise them and praise them when they deserve it as well. You know, but their job is to get the results on the pitch and improve things and see the things that's wrong and put them right. So, you know, we're not managers, and there's a reason why we're not managers is because, you know, we're better off doing this.
Better for our mental health.
Exactly. Now, of course, we've been putting it off, but we are going to have to talk about last night's game. I'm sorry, we are going to have to. It's we just got to. I'm sorry. So yes, okay. What do we make of it? I mean, to be honest with you, at half time, I was sitting here and I was actually really, really happy. I thought we played well in that first half. Yes, a sloppy goal to concede just before half time, but other than that, we were a better team. We were pressing high up the pitch. We were looking hungry, and it was mentioned before about, I don't know if it was a comment in the chat. Someone said about losing the players, like the manager losing the dressing room. That first half performance wasn't a performance of a team that wasn't playing for the manager. That was a performance that was almost like a Leon-like performance from a couple of years ago without all the goals. And I was so happy at half time. I'm thinking, wow, that was brilliant. And then the second half started, and it's like, what on earth went wrong? What happened at half time? So, yes, Bayern played a lot better, but I mean, Christ, I've never seen an Arsenal performance go from being almost a 9 out of 10 in the first half to not even, I wouldn't even give them anything. I'd give them 0 out of 10 for that second half. Ooh. It was all the worst 45 minutes of football I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It looked like they'd never played together before. We couldn't defend, we looked tired, they couldn't pass to each other. I mean, Andres, you was there in the stadium. I mean, sitting with the Bayern Munich fans, that must have been painful. For you. It was painful for all of us, especially for you.
Yeah, exactly. The first 30 minutes from us were just brilliant. I think we started the match dominating, and my Munich friends sitting near me, they so often said in the first 30 minutes, "Oh, what are we doing? It's terrible." And this number 19, she's always coming through. Yeah, Caitlin Ford. She had a fantastic first half, and I see it coming. With Arsenal will score soon. Yeah, this was my impression too. We were creating a lot. We were dominating. Arsenal was the team who dominated the match, and especially over the left side, I think Caitlin Ford was very, very good, and because she's staying out wide, she's staying on the wings. I remember that a few shows ago I said, for me, Beth Mead is too often going from wide in the middle, and Mariona did the same, and Caitlin is staying wide, and this created chances overlapping on the left side, and I think we fully deserved the lead. And it was okay. After 30-35 minutes, Bayern was better, was coming, growing into the match, better in the match. But the equalizer was from a set piece, or from a set piece. I think I said this last week. This is their strongest weapon. Jonas didn't listen to our show.
Normally he does, but he didn't last week.
That's where it's going wrong. Jonas, listen.
Otherwise, he would have known.
Listen to the Lord.
Of course, was a perfect header from Vigosdottir. But Manu was standing on the line and watching what's happening. The ball is flying into the net. Wow. She did not even try to get it. But anyway, with 1-1 at halftime, this was okay. And I was optimistic for the second half. I thought, maybe we can come away with a point. That's okay. And what happened at halftime, I don't know. What did Jonas tell the girls? What did he tell them? Change the way we played. Play more backwards. Let Bayern have the control over the match. Or what did he say? And even after Sidney Lohmann scored the 2-1, we had the equalizer 9 minutes later. Finally, we scored from a corner. So our set pieces improved. But then we had the momentum of the equalizer, and after this goal to make it 2-2, I had the impression, okay, this should be the end result. I think if we control them now, it will be 2-2, and that's okay. And then everything broke, and I don't know what happened then in the last 25 minutes. He made 3 changes. None of them worked, and we gave away the control. We What did he do when Bayern had a corner? Was it clear who has to back up Vigosdottir or Harder? Nobody. And then, yeah, I have to say that Kim Little had a bad match, a bad performance. It's not the first time she looks overplayed or tired. Bringing on Beth, she's not at her best, to say it the least. Also, we know why Emily and Katie McCabe are tired, yes, but we are at the start of October and our players are tired and not fit. So we wanted to play in Europe. We wanted to have these midweek games, everything. And if we are tired at the start of October, what will happen at the end of November or December? And
True.
Or in January, February, when League Cup and FA Cup starts for us, we will be more than tired. So no excuses. But I don't understand what happened in the second half, because first half was so good. Even after the 2-2 equalizer, I was so optimistic. And in the end, my Bayern friends clapped me on the shoulder. It's a hard evening for you, and I'm sorry for you. It was so humiliating for the team and for us supporters.
I must admit, as bad as I felt after the game and in that second half, I kept thinking of how much more worse it must have been for you in the stadium with all the Bayern Munich fans. I mean, that would have been even worse. I mean, it was bad enough watching it at home. I mean, the biggest thing that come out of that, well, the two biggest things that come out of that game for me was, one, I never want to see that goalkeeper playing goal again. With Daphne, I'm not joking, with Daphne in goal last night, she saved at least 3 of them goals, probably 4 of them, because they wasn't difficult ones. The one at the near post that Lohman scored, it's a terrible goalkeeping position. She saves it all day long. She just saves it and keeps hold of it. Obviously the first one, I'll maybe forgive her that one because it was a decent header right in the top corner off the underside of the bar. She probably wouldn't have saved that anyway. All the others, she didn't do enough. The one that header at the end when Pernilla Harder got a hat trick. Why did she come and just claim the cross? She stood on her line and she scored from 2 yards. A header from 2 yards. That's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous, honestly. I think that's the worst goalkeeping performance I've ever seen in my entire life. I could have done better, and I've never played in goal ever. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. I never want to see her play again. If she plays on Saturday, and I like Jonas, I'll defend Jonas, but if he picks her on Saturday, he should be sacked on the spot before the game. He should be sacked because she is past it. And I'll tell you something else.
You said no, Jonas.
And I'll tell you something else. Well, Kim Little has got to be left out of the team because she was terrible last night. She couldn't run. She wasn't tracking her runners. 3 of the goals were down to her as well.
Legs. She's old girl now. Yeah, you're right. She needs
to be. I'm not saying get rid of her. I'm not saying let's get. She needs a rest. Needs a rest. She was dead on her feet last night. She couldn't move, and he kept her on the pitch. She's the captain and all this kind of stuff. But when your captain's so below the level that you need them to be in the game, you've got to take them off. You've got to rest them. You've got to. I mean, there was at least 3 of the goals. She just stood and watched the player run past her. She didn't get anywhere near their header for Pernilla Harder's first goal. She didn't even jump with her. Just let her get a free header in. A couple of times, the player just ran past her. She didn't track them, and then they just have a little tap in. It's like, come on, awful. And it's not just those two. Those two were the worst 2 players on the pitch last night. In the second half, okay, I've almost forgotten the first half how good it was actually, but the second half, those 2 were terrible, and they can't play on Saturday. Neither of them. I just don't want to see it happen. Kim needs a rest. She desperately needs a rest, and the goalkeeper just needs to be retired. Honestly, send her back to Germany or Austria, wherever it is. Wherever her wife is, send her back there because that's where she needs to be. Her focus isn't on football. Her focus is on her family. Let her do that because it's costing us every time she plays. It's costing us. And Daphne's done nothing wrong in the 2 games she's played. In fact, she won us to 3 points at Leicester. She got us a point against Everton. She would have got us a point last night. She might have even got us 3 points last night. So, we brought her in for that reason. So stick her in the team. But other than that, it was great. Emma, what did you make of last night? Because I mean, the first half was good, but I can't remember it now because the second half.
Sorry, he was playing crazy golf.
Was it crazy goal? Was
Oh,
he playing crazy goal?
let's not go into that. That was worse. Oh, don't remind me. That turned it down to one of the worst nights ever. I wasn't actually. Don't worry. I didn't actually even play any crazy golf, but we will talk about that another time. That was also the nastiness of the manager at the golf course. But no, I was following on my phone, and I got home. I watched the highlights, so they have on DAZN. It was about 10 minutes. Yeah, we played well to start with. I was following the text commentary, and then I watched the highlights. But yeah, no, I mean, first off, we were good. We scored a lovely goal. But again, we just the same old problem. I don't know what's worked on in training. Why can we not deal with balls that are into the area? Why can't we get just seem to work on those, which has been the age-old problem, well, for a few years now. I mean, I don't know if it was the problem we had in the past under Joe, for example, but yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem to be worked on in training. It's that's where teams have found out that's a weak area. I mean, you look at all the goals last night, cross into the box. Okay, yeah, Manu could have moved for that first one, but it's a bar. But yeah, she could have prevented it if she just reacts quicker. And then second goal, as you say, just near post. You shouldn't be being beaten near post. It just isn't good enough. It's a good shot, but you should be having that post covered. That goal is avoidable. And yeah, we got a nice equaliser. But then again, the last three all crosses into the box. The worst one for me is the last one. She just flaps it. She had it in her hands, let it go, and Harder just taps it in from 2 yards. As you say, with Daphne and goal, those goals are avoidable. But from corners, crosses, I just don't know. If we can't sort that out, then I don't know. Something needs to be done, worked on harder in training. And yeah, as you say, with regards to the team, Daphne should start pretty much every game going forward. Maybe even given, I was even saying on the Facebook group that I'm part of, I've been part for a while now, that maybe even give Naomi Williams a chance on the odd game and see how she gets on. So, yeah, I don't know. Going forward,
go with that one. Sorry, no disrespect, Naomi.
but no, I mean, going forward, captaincy. I don't know. Give Leah the captaincy. I think she's a great motivator. She's done well under Serena.
Well, she's vice captain. Yeah, she's going to inherit that. Yeah,
give her the captaincy, and also, yeah, I just rest a few players. Start Daphne from now on, and yeah, I don't know. As I said, maybe give the players you've signed, e.g. Rosa, a more of a role. But yeah, I mean, it was a shame the way they just fell away after such a promising start.
It was, yeah, and that was maybe that's more disappointing actually, because we played so well and then we played so badly in the same game. It was almost like two different games completely, and it was actually the same game. And if you could watch the first half on its own, you'd think, wow, what a great team Arsenal are. What a great team they are against a very good side. And you watch the second half and it's like, it'll be almost like watching, Barcelona playing against Valerenga, for example. It was, for want of a better phrase, men against boys, if you see what I mean. And in that second half, and it was just unbelievable how two halves can be so different from the same team. I mean, it was just I've never seen a game like it in my entire life. Tachi says Manu was atrocious, but what about the other players? They didn't even try to put hard off. No, I agree. And it wasn't just a goalkeeping issue. I do think had we added the other goalkeeper in, we wouldn't have conceded half of those goals. But you're right, they're defending in front of her. But sometimes that comes from the goalkeeper. You mentioned there, Emma, about we've had a weakness from crosses, conceding goals from crosses and set pieces, because we have a goalkeeper who can't deal with that. Daphne can. She can organise her defence better. She'll come and claim those crosses, and then suddenly you don't concede it. It's funny how we didn't concede a goal in the previous two games from crosses into the box. We didn't concede a goal from it, and yet you suddenly stick the other goalie in, and we're conceding goals right, left, and centre from them, which has been a problem for 3 or 4 years. We've had this goalkeeper for 3 or 4 years. There's a link there. That's the issue. Quite simple to solve. Get some staples and staple her shorts to the bench. So that's where she stays.
No, I don't know about that.
We're talking before about that's the solution to the problem for me. Tashi also says, would you guys bring in Lotta? She's the only defender who's good in the air. I would bring Lotta in for Leah. Yeah, with atrocious. Well, I'm not going to. I love Leah Williamson. I'm not going to defend her for last night either. She was awful, absolutely. But I think that's a good idea. Maybe play Leah in midfield instead of in Kim Little's position. Play Leah there, put Lotta in defence. That could be.
Well, that's where she plays in England, isn't it? In midfield.
She plays there for England. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That could be a solution. I'm not saying it would necessarily work, but why not try it? What we've got in a minute isn't quite working. Leah can play that role in midfield, and Lotta, you're right, she's probably the best one in the air. she's not so good at dealing with pace, but in certain games she'd be a much better option maybe. But I mean, Ange, where do you think it went wrong last night? Because I don't think I can remember a second half quite as bad as that. Have we ever conceded 5 goals? When was the last time we conceded 5 goals in the game, by the way? Does anybody know? If you know in the chat.
I would think, my memory serves me right. I could be wrong, but that can be in any competition, right?
Yeah.
I remember we lost 5-2 away to Man City in the 2017-18 season, but that can't have been the last time.
Well, it must be. I can't remember a recent time that we conceded 5 goals. We conceded 4 against Chelsea once, I seem to remember, in a Continental Cup group game, but not 5.
No, not 5.
I mean, 4 in one half as well. That was the annoying thing. 4 goals in one half we conceded. And they were all it was basically the same goal over and over again. It was like watching Groundhog Day, wasn't it? And then goals flying in. It's like, we just conceded that goal. Why are we conceding it again? The same one. I mean, where do you think it went wrong now, Ange? Because obviously the first half was good. We can't get away from that fact. The first half was good, but the second half, as good as the first half was, the second half was as bad as that first half was good, wasn't it? Where did it go wrong?
Well, first of all, I didn't see most of the first half. When I did,
there we go. That's the problem straight away there, isn't it?
Yes, I wish I had. Yeah, I don't know. And also, Andreas, I really need you to on board. Could I find the English version? Thank God for you, Rich. Next, yeah. So I was listening to it in German, and my Dutch friend's telling me she's listening to it in English. I thought, okay, this is all too messed up. Next, so I thought, I'll start. Do you know what? And when Bayern got their goal in just towards the end of the first half, I kind of almost missed that because I was messing about the telly because of my stupid telly next. So that was happening. I thought, okay, get yourself together, you're in now. And yeah, okay, first, whenever it was, we fairly quickly, my birthday twin, yeah, we got the equaliser. I thought, okay, yeah, it's cool. And then after that, it was. I thought, what am I watching? Oh, and it is my TV. My TV froze because it's a bit old. And I actually, I should have just. Well, I listened to yourself, but I couldn't even be bothered to put the TV back on. It was like whatever. And I have watched the highlights back, and our defence was bad. Of course, it was very poor, but. Yeah, seeing Manu, and there was at least 2 goals, if memory serves me correctly, where she's just standing there. She don't move. She doesn't move. I expect my goalkeeper to go that way, or whatever.
At least an effort, exactly.
She's just standing there. And do you know, my Dutch friend calls her tree burger.
Mm-hmm.
Not wrong, is it? Not wrong.
Tree burger.
Yeah.
No, I think that's.
Or Andreas gave her the right one last night. Manu the statue.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? I came away from that just feeling sad. I wasn't angry.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those angry supporters.
No.
I mean, listen, we all do the Facebook thing. You're going to see them having the meltdowns and calling for whoever's head next. And that's not what I'm about. But I just came away, I think, because I'd come in. And first thing I did was check the score, and I thought, woo, Mariana, this is good. Like you said, when we conceded, I thought, not the worst, because, Bayern were very up for it, weren't they? Yeah. They were very tenacious, their play, which I'd expect them to be. They're at home. Pretty deep. Well, they're top of the Bundesliga, aren't they? Yeah, they're good, end of. But that second half, I don't know. I can't give you any. I just don't know. But I just came away feeling sad. I've kind of moved on from it because tomorrow's another day. You have to. Yeah. But I just felt sad. It's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, I mean, disappointed as well. I was disappointed with the way that we fell apart, really, because that shouldn't be happening. Yes, obviously we're frustrated, disappointed, and all those kind of things. And Terry says the girls are too nice. All this handshaking and cuddles after the final whistle. That's okay if you've won. I want to see them angry, ready, and not so much. See, no, I don't necessarily agree with that because that's more of a men's thing, isn't it? In men's football, I get really annoyed if we've lost the game and you see them shaking hands and chatting all friendly on the pitch after the game. In women's game, I don't mind that really. If you show aggression on the pitch when the game's going ahead, of course, and that's what you've got to do. But after the game, that's fair enough. Leah Williamson and Georgia Stanway were, had a good kind of embrace at the end of the game, and that's fine. They've experienced loads of great things together at England and stuff like that. So I don't mind that with the women. team at all. I've got no problem with it. I've got a problem with it when the men do it because men shouldn't be. I don't think that's a good example. But with women's team, I've got no
Rich, men can't hug.
Well, no, that's true. Yeah, exactly. They can't hug. Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't be allowed to.
Just
Yeah, you're right. Tachi says it was against City, the 5 goals. Yeah, it must have been because I can't remember a more recent one. So that's a long time, isn't it? Not to concede that many goals. It's not great, is it? Sam says it doesn't help when you keep chopping and changing the goalkeeper. Absolutely, it doesn't help the team, and the manager doesn't think to know his best team.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's right.
I mean, I think it's difficult when you say he doesn't know his best team. We've got a very big squad of good players, so it's difficult. I mean, does anybody know our best 11? We've all got our own idea in our head of the 11 we would pick, but is that necessarily our best 11? And the fact you've got a squad, you don't need a best 11. What you need 15, 16, 17 players that can all make an impact in a game, either from starting the game or from coming off the bench. So you don't need to have the best 11. It doesn't matter what your so-called best 11 is. You need a team that starts the game and you need a team that finishes the game, and you need to make sure you've got the right balance in between. And that's what it's about. And having a big squad means you've got a lot of games. We've got to rest and rotate. We can't keep the same 11 players in the team every week. You won't win nothing doing that. And they'll get tired, they'll get injured, and then you're going to be screwed because you haven't used your squad. That's the problem that the men's team have had. We haven't used the squad. At least Jonas is using the squad. He's maybe not using it in the best way, but at least he's giving players minutes on the pitch. He's changing players around, resting players when he can. And you've got to do that. He's got to do it better, obviously. We did know that about that. Tachi says, I love Kim, but she can't be a mainstay in our starting 11. I don't know if she's been instructed, but the lack of progressive pass is absolutely furious. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe part of it is to do with her age as well. You know, number of games that she's played. I don't think she's quite as dynamic as she used to be, which she's not. And that's part of the process of getting older in sport, isn't it? I suppose. But yeah, she needs to be rested at the moment. She needs to be rested, and I think that's nothing against Kim. We all love Kim. Come on, I mean, look what she's done.
Sorry, can I just say she's 34 years of age. She'll be 35 in 29th of June. Yeah, it is an age factor.
Yeah, exactly. It is. You know, and none of us get any younger, do we? I suppose that's the way. That's the circle of life, and in sport even more so. But there you go. But yeah, I mean, I'm almost lost for words for that second half because it was unexpected. It was totally unexpected. At half time, I was happy, thinking, "Wow, what a great performance!" You know, if we get a draw
can I pull something out? Would we have all accepted a draw from last
night?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, if we'd have carried on the second half,
100%.
And yeah, it was half of them, half of us, whatever. Yeah, I'd have totally accepted that draw away from home. It'd have been a good match.
Yeah, and what we should have done, like Andreas mentioned, when we got it back to 2-2, which was a little bit against the run of play at the time we scored, it was a bit unexpected, but wow, we scored a goal. What we should have done then was we should have just managed the game better and seen it through as a draw. Got defended properly, and not made stupid substitutions. We didn't need to make all those stupid substitutions at 2-2. He made the substitutions just after we scored at 2-2, straight after. And there's no need to do it then. All you've got to do then is take a breath for 10 minutes, keep yourself in the game, defend properly, and then cross straight Bayern Munich, and we'd have probably got a draw. And that is on the manager. That yes, the players were terrible, and the players need to hold up their hands and say, you know what, we wasn't good enough. And pretty much all of them. I don't think any of them players can come out of that game with any credit whatsoever. But the manager, that was a manager mistake by making those substitutions just after we scored. You've got to think, well, okay, you might have made them before. Think, yeah, okay, we'll make the changes when it was 2-1, fair enough. But at 2-2, you change your mind and think, no, I'm not going to make them changes now. We don't need to. Let's we are for 10 minutes. That's what we needed to do, and we didn't. And that's on the manager, and he's got to understand and learn from that, because that was a terrible piece of management.
Yeah, but what my impression is that the team doesn't believe in Jonas' tactics. They don't believe that what he tells them, what they have to do, that this will work. I think they lost their belief or their faith in Jonas' ideas or team management. And one thing I want to add after the match, I stood at the Arsenal bus. I thought I can watch our players coming out. Maybe there's a chance to make a something like that. But it was impossible. I was standing first in the line, and I don't know how many minutes we were waiting, 5 minutes or so, and then Leslie was the first to come out, even with wet hair. I mean, she had a shower, yeah, but no time to dry her hair, and she went straight to the bus. No look
Yeah.
right or left, nothing. Then 2 minutes, nothing, and then the next one was Rosa coming through. Yeah, younger fans were saying, "Oh, Rosa, can we have a photo or something like that?" She went straight to the bus. Another 2 minutes later, Stina came. You could see she had cried.
Oh,
She was still in tears, and someone said, "Stina, photo," and she looked at this supporter and said, "Sorry, not today." And then she went to the bus, and that's it. I waited 5 more minutes. Nobody was coming, and this is not what I expect after such a defeat, after such a match. I expect that they stay in the dressing room and speak with each other and say what was wrong, and have like a short crisis management. But the first player is coming out and going to the bus, and 2 minutes later the next one is coming. That's not a team. That's not
no.
that's not a positive sign that they know how to deal with this. It's we miss this team spirit, this resilience, this attitude. We missed everything, and I think this was a sign that something is going wrong in the team, with the manager, with the player. There is something going wrong.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, yeah, and I get that. But on the other side of that as well is you've just lost 5-2, right? In the second half you played terrible. Do you really want to sit there and have your photo taken with fans? No, I mean, I understand, Stina.
Yeah, I get that. To be
Right?
fair.
I would just want to get on that bus and hang my head and sit in the dark and not see anybody. And I can kind of understand the players feeling like that. I'm sure in the changing room they had conversations. I'm sure they did, and I'm sure they will do over the next couple of days as well. And I'm sure that maybe some things were said, and maybe that's why the players were like that. Maybe things were said that people say in the heat of the moment in those kind of situations, and I'm sure things were said. But I wouldn't want to see the players coming out all happy and taking photos of everybody, because we just lost by 2 and embarrassed ourselves. Get on that bus quickly, put your head down underneath a hood and get on that bus. That's what I would do, and that's what I would want the players to do it after that particular. I'm not saying they all the time, no, they need to give their time to the fans, of course, and usually they do, but after a game like that, I want them on that bus and gone. Get out of there quick. That's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
If I was a manager, I'd say to them, look, don't be looking like you're anything other than disappointed and upset, because you should be.
Actually, do you know what? I go along with that totally, because I just think if I was in that position myself, I'd think I've let everybody down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We live for another day, but today's not the day. Yeah, because I don't think anybody wants to see that. Otherwise, it looks like gloating, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm going to go
a little bit. Yeah, you just, I think it's a difficult one, because you do, as a player, you want to obviously give your time to the fans that's come to support you. Of course you do, and you should do most of the time. But when you just perform like that, I think that really it's a matter of thinking, you know what, there's nothing I can do now that's going to make any difference to what's just happened. So let's just get out of here. Let's get on the coach. Let's get to the airport. Let's get home and let's put it behind us and move forward. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating as a fan to see the players react like that. But I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I say if they come out and take photos with fans, you're going to think, what you're doing? You've just played terrible.
But then,
sorry. Can I? If anybody wants to know, because I've got it on in the background, Greece have just scored.
Oh,
Greece have just scored, have they?
Yeah.
It was 1-0 to Greece. Wow.
Oh dear.
It weren't a
funny,
forward player, was it? Oh my
That
god.
is
No. Oh my god. Yeah, he got an assist. Oh.
I agree with you, Richard, that I don't
expect
the players to make photos or laugh with the supporters, but I expect that they come out in groups of 4 or 5 and then go to the bus, and not that one player comes out, goes to the bus, then 2 minutes later the next one, 2 minutes later the next one. That's a sign that they didn't speak with each other, and that's not a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, no, I get that point. Yeah, they should have maybe come all out together and show unity together. Maybe, yeah, I think that maybe would have been a better statement to have made potentially. But I think everybody reacts differently, don't they, to situations like that. You know, maybe Leslie just didn't want to have anything to do with anything. She just wanted to be sit on the bus on her own and you know, sit in the corner. Stina obviously was upset. And to be honest, you know, I love Stina, and you know, I would defend her to the back of the earth. But last night she was terrible, absolutely terrible. It was the worst game I think I've ever seen her play. She was terrible last night, and I was begging her to get taken off because it was that bad. And I never want her to be taken off normally. And I'm thinking, just get her off the pitch.
Sorry, guys. Another update. Saka's going off, and he's walking a bit funny.
Oh no! Don't talk about.
Sorry.
Oh, we're fine. Don't talk about men. We want him to stay fit, man. Let's not worry about the men. As long as Saka doesn't go injured, man. We don't want any more injuries.
We're still walking. It's fine.
No, he'll be all right. Don't worry. He'll play next week. Don't worry.
Well, he has to, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, exactly. Jonas is losing the dressing room, and it's really apparent.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that because of how we played in the first half. You don't play like that in the first half.
Yeah.
You know, let's. I think the next game is really important. Hopefully, we're going to talk about it in a minute. But let's see the response to it, because that's always the key, isn't it? Everyone can have a bad game, and it happens. And at the end of the day, we've only lost 2 games this season, both in the Champions League, away from home. Funnily enough, and that's what we need to look at. But you know, we've only lost 2 games out of 8. It's not a disaster. We haven't lost in the WSL yet. It's not a disaster. It's not brilliant, but we need to get a little bit of perspective. If the team had lost the dressing room, I don't think we would have played like we did in the first half. If the manager had lost the dressing room, I don't think we'd play like that. Let's see what happens. If we go out against Chelsea and get hammered 6-0 and we play terribly, then I might tend to agree that might have happened. But I don't think it will. What a name that is, Lucky. It's not a very good name for today, is it? Because we haven't been very lucky. Anyway, he's agreed with that kind of loss. You have nothing to offer the fans. Just move on. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, but maybe do it all together, as Andrea said. All come out together, move on together. It looks like everybody's in it together, as opposed to that's a fair point. But yeah. There you go. Lucky says as well, the team needs a vocal and brave leader who calls out everyone, motivates them, and gives directions on the pitch. Yeah. And I think Kim's done that in the past, but not so much lately because maybe she's just too tired. But there you go. I mean, at the end of the day, we said that the players have to move on from last night, and that's important that they do. I think we have to move on from last night as well because, you know, there's no point dwelling on it. It's done. It's finished. We all felt the same. I'm sure we did at the end of that game. Shocked and stunned really on anything, thinking, well, where did that actually come from? How awful was that kind of thing? But anyway, we move on, and we've got no time to worry about it because coming up very, very quickly is a game against not a bad side, if you want. And of course, one ex-Chelsea player scored a hat-trick against us last night. Which current Chelsea player is going to score a hat-trick against us on Saturday? That's the question. But anyway, let's see. I must admit, I'm actually kind of weirdly optimistic about Saturday for some unknown reason. I don't know what it is. The fact that we've done quite well against Chelsea at the Emirates in recent years. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's because the players have got to show a response for the game yesterday. They've got to show a response. They can't go out and play anything other than brilliantly on Saturday. And I actually think we will. I've just got this feeling that it's going to all come into place on Saturday. But maybe I'm just being a little bit too optimistic. I mean, Andreas, it's going to be tough. They're the champions. We know how good they are. You know, their new managers come in and, you know, they had a good result in the Champions League in midweek. It's going to be a difficult game. But do you think we're going to show a good response now to that game yesterday?
I'm not sure. I think Chelsea has such a big spot; they can rotate, and and if Sonia Bompastor watched our game in Munich, then she knows how they can hurt us with corners, with set pieces, and I don't think Jonas will make a change at the goalkeeper position. Manu will play because she's his first choice for the important games. Yeah, let's wait. She's playing. Of course, I would make a change, but he won't. And then we will suffer corners. Just imagine a corner for Chelsea with Myra Ramirez, with Millie Bright, Natalie Bjorn, Joke Nusken. They are all so strong in the air. Oh, no. And I saw the highlights from the Chelsea match against Real Madrid. They were very good in the offense, but they made sloppy mistakes in defense, allowing Madrid to score 2 goals. And I think Musovic wasn't at her best. Normally Hannah Hampton had played, but she was feeling ill or something like that after the warm-up. It's a different Chelsea tactics when Hannah Hampton is playing, because she's like an 11th field player, not only a goalkeeper. So this will be difficult. There will be long passes from her, and of course we will suffer with set pieces, and the pressure is on us, totally on us. It's a home match. We should win, or at least we are not allowed to lose. And with this 5-2 defeat and Chelsea winning their first match in Champions League, and having 6 points out of 2 games in the WSL, all pressure is on Arsenal, and it will be an easy match for Chelsea. So I don't know if our team is so resilient or is able to bounce back. I haven't seen this passion in the second half, and where should this come from now? I'm not optimistic for Saturday.
Oh no, that's not. We don't want to hear that, do we? I mean, I can understand why. Obviously, we just got absolutely hammered by Bayern Munich. So of course, it's difficult to be optimistic. But I always look at it. Each game is a different game, a different challenge, and it's a chance to start again, isn't it? You know, it's 0-0. It'll be 0-0 at 1:30, and it's going to hopefully be a better performance. I'm sure it will. I'm confident it will. I mean, Amar, what are you making of the game on Saturday? Then obviously, anything other than a victory is not really going to be good enough now, is it? And Andreas is right. The pressure is on us massively to perform and to get a result, a positive result.
Yeah, as he rightly says, though. I mean, as I said, I also watched the highlights on the Real Madrid game, and they do look good going forward. But again, can we deal with the crosses coming into our box? You know, they said they had about 4 or 5 chances to clear. Both those goals were avoidable, so they have shown a bit of vulnerability. It's whether we can show enough guile and pace going forward, which we've severely lacked so far. Okay, Chelsea are not one of the teams you normally associate with the low block, but you know, if we can play fast flowing, free attacking football like we've shown in the past. Look what happened last season when we absolutely demolished them. We could have won 7 or 8-1. I mean, 4-1 flattered us. They flattered them, to be honest. Okay, and then we've also, I mean, we haven't lost at them at home in the last 4 meetings with 2 wins, 2 draws. We've beaten them, completely outclassed them in a Conti Cup final, beating them again. So we have the good recent history against them. Yes, I mean, their squad depth is unbelievable, but you know, it's now up to us to go and we'll roll our sleeves up, show that we've forgotten about what's happened, and hopefully we'll get a good crowd again. The opponent being such a big team, again, with no disrespect to the other teams in the league, hopefully they'll get a good crowd, and then the fans can get behind them and spur them on. So I mean, yeah, as you said, it's going to be a difficult game. It's not going to, of course, again, I hope Daphne plays. She has to. She simply has to play. I don't know whether, can't keep sticking with a goalkeeper who's, as you've rightly been saying, who's beyond her, whose best days are beyond her, and it doesn't look like being solid enough to inspire the backline in front of her to defend the crosses that are coming in. So, I mean, let's wait and see what happens. I think, okay, if a draw, and I keep saying it, a win is great, but a draw is also better than a defeat. If you can get something against this very good Chelsea side, and they showed that with a performance, okay, you may not the result is what matters. But if you can have the performance to match the result and not get beat, that's equally as good. So hopefully we can get something out of it. It's going to be tough for us, but you know, we've got a good recent record against them. I think we can get a positive result.
I mean, under normal circumstances, I would say a draw would actually be okay. I think a draw would be okay. But I think in these particular circumstances, I'm not sure if a draw is going to be good enough. And I think one of the reasons for that is because what we've all got to remember is, and what I think everybody at the club's got to remember is, that we have gone from, you know, having 1,500 fans at Meadow Park watching the team to suddenly getting 60,000. Where have these 60,000 fans come from, right? they're recent modern fans, right? And they're the ones who are screaming and shouting about how terrible things are, right? Because we're not winning games 8-0 every week. So we've got to understand that the majority of these fans at the Emirates now are recent fans to the Arsenal women's football side of them, probably in the last couple of years since the Euros. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got to get into it at some point. We want to encourage more people to do it. But I think we've got to understand that, you know, the history of this Arsenal women's team is obviously of winning trophies, winning league titles, unbeaten seasons, Champions Leagues, all this kind of stuff, right? And that's the kind of level that we should be looking to get back to. But we've also got to understand that football's changed to what it was 10 years ago. Now, I had this conversation, I don't know if it was in the game last night or the Everton game, I can't remember which one it was now. Someone in the chat was talking about it, and I said, if you put this current Arsenal team now in the WSL of 2007, they would win every single match because they're better, they're more athletic, they're fitter, and if you put the 2007 team as they were then in the WSL now, they probably wouldn't win the league in the same way that they did then, because the standard has improved. So we've got to take that into account, and it's no good saying, well, you know, Arsenal have won all these league titles. Why are we drawing 0-0 with Everton? Because Everton are not as bad as they were a few years ago. Nobody is. Everybody's got better. The football's got more technical, as we've said. So let's try. I don't know. I don't want to get carried away on the negativity because we've had a couple of poor performances and a really terrible result. But you know, we're only one good win on Saturday away from being above Chelsea in the league. And, you know, everything's different. Everything's different. So we can't just suddenly say, well, let's sack Jonas now. And then on Saturday, because we beat Chelsea, well, actually, let's keep him for another week. You've got to look at it long term. And for me, if we get hammered on Saturday, then that's a different conversation. I mean, and what do you think is going to happen on Saturday? Are you expecting a big response from the team, or do you think we're going to struggle and maybe the confidence is gone and it's a good time for Chelsea to be playing us because they're never going to get a better chance to win at the Emirates, are they? Let's be honest.
I'm going to go with my heart. The girls are going to turn up. They're at the carpet. They're going to turn up. I don't think the dressing room's lost. For all we know, actually, straight away, Fox and Mariona, what time have they had off? They've had no time off. Yeah, that is a fact.
Very true.
They're big players. They've hit the ground running. And also, I think there's a little bit, I don't want to put any hate on any players, but I think there's a bit more to Beth than just coming back from ACL. But I think certainly for Leah, once again, coming back, because we know her mentality is so good, but you do get setbacks, which she certainly had, i.e. with the ACL. And maybe she's not quite 100%. I know she had the concussion protocol thing, and obviously they wouldn't play it if, you know, she's fit enough. But who knows? Maybe it is her leg again. You don't know, because Arsenal ain't going to tell you nothing, are they, to start with? So I think those could be the things going on behind the scenes, personally. And like you said, Kim Little, bless her heart, yeah, she is a mature lady now. So, yeah, instead of Kim Little, you play Kyra.
That's a good goal,
Yeah, I like Kyra. Yeah, I like the player. I've forgiven her for Scarfgate. That one. Next. No, seriously. I think they're going to turn up. That's in my heart. I don't want to be logical. We're at the Emirates. I mean, yeah, come on, it's Chelsea. Yeah, I think they're going to turn up, but I will settle for a draw. It sounds a cop out. I'll settle for a draw. Anything else is a bonus. I win.
Yeah, I do kind of think that's fair enough. I mean, Chelsea are a very good side. We know they're a great side. We've had a bad week, and I think if we come out of it with something against Chelsea, we have to be reasonably happy. But beating them would be such a big statement at this point in the season as well. To get those 3 points off them, I think that would be such a big statement. We've got a big opportunity to do it at Emirates. We know that that's a big advantage when it's full. And, you know, Chelsea haven't done particularly well at the Emirates. So let's take advantage of that as well and get the crowd on our side. That's going to be so important after the other night, isn't it? straight away we need to get the crowd on our side. We need to start the game well, and hopefully we can get the right result that we need. Roland says there, the pro-Viv faction of the squad still forms the core of the team. The team lacks pace. Everything is slow and predictable. Baker, Farji, Leah, Viviana, and Reed in defence. Not against Chelsea. Not against Chelsea. That's too risky. That is in this game. That would be far too risky, wouldn't it, to play the young players from the start? Again, I just think when we've just conceded 5 goals to Bayern Munich, we have to be a little bit more safe. I'm not saying play defensive and safe, but we can't take those sort of risks. I think that's asking for trouble, honestly. Terry says, if we get stuff this weekend, it may be a blessing in disguise. Well, it wouldn't be a blessing in disguise, but I kind of get the point you're making. Tachi says it feels like Jonas has moved away from his usual approach of focusing on each game as it comes. Yeah, this week it seems that's happened. I agree. It does seem as though, right from the start when he was talking about the scheduling, almost as though, well, we're going to struggle this week, and this is the reason why, before we even played any of the games. So I kind of agree with that, actually, yeah. Tashi says there, in his interview after the Everton match, he mentioned bringing on Leah and Steph to get minutes in their legs, even though the game was not. Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. That's not really a good. Not that that we need them to be in the team, but I mean, talking of Leah Williams as well, actually, I mean, she hasn't been at her best, and I don't think she's been at her best since the Euro final. I think that was the pinnacle of her career, and I think she struggled to get that same motivation that she had before that. And I think that's one of the problems. I've seen it in her. She doesn't look as motivated to play football anymore as she was before. In the same way that I noticed that with Viv as well in the last couple of years, she didn't look as motivated on the pitch as she did previously. And I think the same thing with Leah. And maybe it's just that high from that. It's difficult, isn't it, when you have a massive high and then suddenly you've got to find a way of replacing that. And then she got injured, which didn't help. But yeah, I've got a feeling that she's not quite as intense about football as she was before the Euros and going into. Same with Beth. Maybe Beth's got a similar issue a little bit as well. Again, an injury, but when you've had that high, I don't know. I think it's hard to get it back afterwards. I really do. Lucky says there, Chelsea will expect pressure from Arsenal, so take your chances as you can and don't lose them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They will. They're away from home. They would expect some pressure. Tess says there, it gives the impression he's more focused on managing upcoming games rather than the game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I felt that as well last week. Absolutely, I did. So there you go. And Tess says there, it feels like Jonas has moved away. Oh, we mentioned that, won't we? Take these games. All right. Okay. And it gives the impression he's more focused on managing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Sam says it'll be a tough game against Chelsea. I will be at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday as I'm a season ticket holder, but I always hope we can get 3 points. Yeah, of course. Well, there you go, Sam. You're at the Emirates, so obviously all our guys are at the Emirates as well. So if you see everyone out there, please say hello. It'll be great. And it will be a great game. We have to give a score prediction because that's what we do. Reyes, I know it's going to be difficult. What's your score prediction for Saturday?
I'm sure that the team will commit themselves to go out and improve everything and follow what they have prepared for the match and everything. But it's a fragile building. If we concede a goal and go 1-0 down, I think all will collapse and break down. So yes, if we have a good start in the match and hopefully if we score first, then everything is possible. And I would take a draw, and if you give me a paper, I take it. I sign it and take it. A draw would be fantastic. But what I see coming on Saturday is that Chelsea scores the first goal after a corner, Myra Ramirez or something like that, and then everything will collapse and Chelsea will win 3-0. So,
wow. Yeah. Oh, okay, Christ. Terry's gone 4-1 to Chelsea as well. So if Terry's saying 4-1 to Chelsea, we've got big problems, haven't we? Let's be honest. Normally, Terry would be saying 4-1 to Arsenal, wouldn't he? So you know there's issues going on there if Terry feels like that. Emma, what's your score prediction for Saturday?
I don't think I'm going to be as doomsday as some people are thinking. I look at the way Chelsea defended. I know everyone says, "Oh yeah, they're winning games," but they were. They had so many chances to clear those chances. Okay, we can be a bit more clinical. We've shown our goal record against them is good, and the pressure's on them. They know they're facing a wounded animal, as you like to say in us. But pressure's on them. If everyone says, as proverbially says, we're there for the taking, and take us to show us what you're made of. You've only beaten Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, it took you 40 minutes to finish them off. Okay, 7-0 was the scoreline there, but it was a bit flattering for them, I thought. Aston Villa had their chances in their open game as well. They're not as invincible as people make out. I don't think the pressure, as I said, is on Chelsea, and the new coach has been great and everything, but I don't think it's as bad as people make out. And if we get the team selection right and we can just stay in the game and for as long as possible, we won't collapse. So I'll be positive, and I think we can get a result. I think it'll be it's a tough one, but I say 2-2.
Okay. 3-2 would be okay, I suppose. Yeah. We would take a 3-2. I'm sure we all would. And what's your score prediction? I know you're optimistic.
Well, do you know what? That's what I was going to go for, 2-2. Oh, we're on the same page. But there's a big but coming. Who's in goal? I'm going to say it's Duff.
Well, hopefully it will be Duff. Hopefully it will.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's WSL game. She's got used to the carpet. Yeah, I'll say it'll be Duff. He ain't that stupid.
He's still going 2-2.
I like Jonas. He ain't that stupid. Yeah, it'll be Duff. Yeah.
You're still going 2-2 then, yeah?
Yeah, no, just seriously, that's in my head. But if we got Duff, it could all change.
Well, you see, my feeling is if Duff's in goal, Chelsea aren't scoring because no one's scoring against them all season. So we'll get a clean sheet. We'll definitely keep it. If he makes the right choice,
I really rooted for her, but I'm okay. Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. I'll be more than happy.
Keep a clean sheet if Daphne's in goal, and I think she will be in goal. So I'm going to say we're going to keep a clean sheet, and I think that, as we said about a wounded animal, that's exactly what we are. And I remember last season we got stuff at Chelsea, didn't we? When Stamford Bridge, when we were awful, got absolutely hammered. That was a terrible performance. And then we beat them a couple of weeks later in a cup final. And I think I can see us producing a similar performance that we did in a cup final against Chelsea, and I think we'll win. And I think we'll win 1-0, and it's going to be great. And I think Stina might score again, actually, the winning goal. That'll be good, wouldn't it? And all will be forgiven. Everything will be forgiven for Bayern Munich. We'll forget about that because we just beat Chelsea, and it'll be happy days. But it could easily be, like Terry said, it could easily be 4-1. It could easily be 3-0 to Chelsea, let's be honest. It could. But I'm going to think it won't be. Tashi says, we haven't had one good full 90 minutes this season. I don't expect it to change against Chelsea. I fear it could be an embarrassing defeat. Well, I think we all fear it could be an embarrassing defeat, but I think we'll be up for it, and I think we'll turn it around. Sam said, I think it'll be 2-1 Arsenal. It'll be a tight game. Exactly. See, Sam's on the right. Sam knows what that's what we like to see. Good stuff. Exactly that. That is what it's going to be. Terry says, DVD must play for us to stand any chance. Exactly, yeah. To stand any chance. You're absolutely right. Yeah, if Manu's in goal, then I think that the 3-0 that Andreas has said to Chelsea will probably definitely happen, or 4-1. Absolutely. In fact, if Manu's in goal, I might even watch the game. It'd be pointless. I might just turn the TV off.
Come on, Richard. Come on.
And if I was going to the game, I'd get into the stadium and someone announce the team, Manu's in goal, I just walk out and go home because it'd just be pointless. It will be pointless playing if Manu's in goal, honestly. Tachi says there, question, it seems as if most fans are on the brink of wanting Jonas out. Even if we beat Chelsea, would that be enough to change their mind? Personally, I ain't changing my mind after one game. Well, no, one game's not enough to make anybody change their mind either way. And in the same way that one game last night, for example, isn't enough to make me change my mind and think that we should get rid of him. Yeah? Because I don't think there's, we've made a lot of changes to the playing team over the last few years that Jonas has been there. And most of those players have been players that he's wanted. And it's like, he's won trophies, and you can see that there's something that needs to change. And one game either way isn't enough to make a decision on, is it? We could beat Chelsea 5-0 on Saturday, and it's not enough to say, well, yeah, Jonas definitely should keep his job forever, but it's enough to say it's giving him more time. And equally, if we lose 5-0, having lost to Bayern Munich, I still don't think that's enough to say, well, let's sack him now, because I think enough's happened already for him to deserve more time. But I'm not saying we should keep him forever. I mean, Andreas, do you think that Saturday's game is going to be the crucial one? If we do lose and lose badly, as some people have predicted we are, do you think that will be the end for Jonas, or do you think he maybe deserves a bit more time to turn things around or attempt to turn things around?
I see the next 3 matches as a package before the international break. It's Chelsea on Saturday, then Wednesday Vålerenga,
I think that's a very good point. Yes, agree.
then West Ham away, and then it's the international break. So the board will make a decision before the international break. If we lose to Chelsea and play similar to the second half in Munich, then the decision will be made on Sunday, but they won't announce it. They won't tell Jonas before. They will let everything until the next 2 games because it's too quick turnaround. But the decision after defeat against Chelsea will be made on Sunday. They will announce it before the international break. If we win against Chelsea, what we all hope and have a fantastic performance, maybe like last year when we beat them 4-1, then it will give Jonas more time than the next 2 matches. Hopefully, with more self-confidence, 2 wins, he'll get more time, but it's still a fragile building until the end of or mid of December, and then there will a decision be made again. But of course, the Chelsea match will decide about his job, but no decision. You can't sack the manager on Sunday and say the new one or the interim manager has 2 more days to prepare a Champions League match. That's not possible. Therefore, I don't expect any decision announced before the international break. And that's, for me, as I said, it's a package, these next 3 matches.
But would you, if Saturday doesn't go well, even though the club wouldn't announce it, would you think that would be the right decision?
Yes. If we lose against Chelsea 3-0, as I said, then the decision will be made but not announced. I think it would be the right decision then, because any half-decent manager can't do it worse with this quality in the squad. And it must be a change. It must be a turnaround. And if you see that there isn't a change, that the team is not responding or bouncing back after this embarrassing night in Munich, if you see this, then the conclusion must be there is no more turnaround possible between this manager and the team.
Okay, fair enough. No, I mean that's a fair point. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I mean, Amar, do you think that the result and the performance on Saturday is going to be the deciding factor in Jonas keeping his job? And would you, if it doesn't go well on Saturday, would you want him to be sacked, even if it's not announced that on Saturday? Would you want him to be sacked if we lose on Saturday and play badly again?
I know I've said enough about the manager. I've not liked him in the past, but I just hope something changes. We just want to see a performance and a result. Okay, if they go down, there are ways to lose. So yesterday was not the way to lose. If you lose, go show you for battling performance, and it can take a lot of respect out. If it turns out it's going to be like last night, then I don't know how much longer you can give him, but I think just give him maybe at least until West Ham, as Andreas rightly says, and then maybe make the decision, because then they'll give the players time to go away and maybe reflect and just and then come back. Maybe I don't know what will happen if they do end up getting rid of him, and how long will it take to announce replacement. This is all speculation, but we just want to see a performance. We just want to see. Let's not talk about the manager. Let's just get behind the team on Saturday, and let's get behind the team. Whatever happens, we'll support it all the way. We can't blame the players. We've enough of this blame game. I would admit very, very staunchly myself that I know I've maybe said 1 or 2 things I shouldn't have in the past, but let's just see. It's a barometer for him. He's done really well. He's got a better record against Chelsea than any other manager we've had in previous years. So let's just get behind the team, support them to the hill, and whatever happens, if they go down, let's hope they go down with some fight, and then take each game as it comes, and whatever the decision happens. If it does end up happening, let's just take it, as we say, 1 game at a time.
Yeah, I mean, my only sort of issue with the 3 game kind of batches, the likelihood is whatever happens against Chelsea, we're probably going to beat Vålerenga and West Ham, and you can't really sack a manager who just won 2 games in a row.
No,
I just think that you can't announce it that you sacked the manager who just won 2 games in a row. I just think that the only way they would announce it after West Ham is if we lose to Chelsea, we don't do very well against Vålerenga, and then we lose to West Ham again. Then, yeah, fair enough. That would be the right decision. But I don't think we can do it if we win those 2 games after Chelsea, which I expect we will, probably. can't guarantee that we will, but you'd imagine that we've got a great chance to do that. I mean, Ange, do you think that this is like last chance saloon in a sense for Jonas? Do you think we've got to get it right on Saturday, or maybe that will be it, even if they might not necessarily announce it straight away? Do you think he's got this one game to save himself, or do you think he's got enough in the bank from winning a couple of trophies to maybe get through this bad patch and give them time to turn things around?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I'm sorry. I really, really don't know at this point. And the problem is, I actually like the guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I think the women like him. And yeah, we haven't quite got to the bottom of what's going wrong. It's all speculation. But all right, let's put this bluntly. What's her name? Claire Wheatley.
Yeah,
This is a woman you don't mess with. And I thought Emma Hayes was bad next. You don't mess with her. And then you got Edu, Mr. Charming Edu. Basically, it's down to them, isn't it?
Well,
yeah, so if he doesn't deliver, but I don't know what that time frame is going to be. I don't, because technically, listen, I was at the Conti Cup final last year. What's it, won the year before on the telly? I loved it. But yeah, I do think we can do better than that. But at the moment, sorry, I can only go one game at a time. Yeah, sort Chelsea out. I'll accept a draw. Accept a draw. Prefer a win, but I'll accept a draw. Whether do you know, Rich, you really summed it up. We're on Facebook, we're on that particularly the big
social media is toxic,
and there are people who've only just come into it. And look, you're so right. They expect the 8-0. All right, last night was a disaster, second half, sadly, but they expect so much more. Yeah, they're not really looking at the game for what it is, as in
exactly. And the improvements that there's been to the other teams have improved so much more than they used to.
Yeah, you are right. You're totally right there.
And I don't know. Sometimes I think we need to try to keep a little bit of more perspective, maybe than sometimes. It's easy to react at the time of a game. Of course, we're all upset, we're angry, we're frustrated, all these kind of things. When we lose, of course, all of us are. And it's important that we try to, look a little bit more perspective. I mean, I do think that Jonas is under massive pressure. There's no doubt about that.
Of course.
He is, and he should be under pressure. Every single manager of Arsenal should be under pressure every week, under pressure to get a result out of the team. And if they're not doing it consistently, their job should be at risk. Every single Arsenal manager ever, that should be the case, because we're a club that shouldn't accept mediocrity. Exactly. Jonas is under pressure, and this is where you learn more about people, don't you? How does he respond to this sort of mini crisis, if you like? How can he get the players to respond? And we're going to find out on Saturday, aren't we? And I don't think it's one game. I don't think this is his last chance. I don't. I think he's got enough in the bank, and I think we've seen enough from football in general in recent years. Managers are getting more time now than they used to. Managers used to be sacked right, left, and centre. Now they're not. Even in the Premier League, managers don't get sacked. And if you look at Arsenal as a club, what we've done over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been prepared to give managers time. We gave Arteta time when he was losing game after game, and he turned it around. We need to give Jonas time, I think, to try. If he can't turn it around, and we can't give him an indefinite amount of time. No managers should. We're Arsenal, but looking at the way the club's been run in recent years, I don't think they're going to sack Jonas, even if we lose to Chelsea. I don't think they will. Whether they should or they shouldn't is a different matter. I'm sure everyone's got their own feelings about it. I personally wouldn't, if it was me. I think he's deserved the opportunity to get more time. If by Christmas it's not any better, maybe sack him then, and I would maybe back that then. I think he deserves a little bit more time. But let's see what happens Saturday first. If we beat Chelsea 4-0, everyone's going to be happy. No one's going to want Jonas.
Yeah, exactly.
But the comment before was right. It's not about one game. Absolutely, it's not about one game. It's about the long-term thing. Are we progressing as we should be as a club? I don't know. Tasha makes a point here, says, Rich, have you seen a consistent style of play? He's been here about 4 years and I still don't see a proper identity. He won't take the team. But yeah, in a way I agree. But equally, there's this transition of women's football. And I think that we've got to adapt to that as well. And I think Jonas has brought in a totally different style and philosophy than the previous manager did. And some of the players are the same. Some haven't been able to adapt and they've moved on. Some are still here and trying to adapt. And I think that we've seen at times in some big games we've played really, really well and we can compete with anybody. It's sometimes in the lesser games, as we saw last season, that's where the consistency struggled. So I kind of do see an identity. I do see whether it's an identity I like, not always, but I do see an identity, the style of play that's evolved from how we used to play before. And it's evolved in the last 3 years that Jonas has been there because he's trying to stamp his pattern on it. In the same way that Mikel Arteta done in the men's team. It took a long time for it to make any sense. After 2 years of Mikel Arteta, my head was spinning, thinking, what on earth is going on? What are we doing? Now you can see the identity, you can see the pathway. And maybe Jonas will get there as well if he's given the time. I don't know. I'm hoping he does. Maybe you're right. Maybe he won't. Maybe there is no identity. Maybe he's just throwing it all together and hoping for the best. He's just got his big pot of good players. Throw them all in and let's see what happens. And sometimes that seems to be what we're doing. But I'm sure there is a plan. And I kind of see what's happening in the transitional kind of phase. But it needs to be better. Obviously, it needs to be better. Sam says, I think after women are still a good side. I just think there is money coming at WSL making it. But exactly, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely there is. 170 Gunner says Lee Gunner is fuming. Well, Lee Gunner's always fuming, isn't he? So we don't really care. But yeah, let's get Saturday's game out of the way first, and let's see what sort of performance we get, what the lineup is. Let's get excited for the game because it's Chelsea. It's the biggest game of the season. Let's enjoy it, and let's hope that at the end of the game on Saturday afternoon, we're not feeling as we did last night at the end of the game. That's all I can say. I don't want to be feeling like that again. Now, of course, there is another game in midweek, which we'll have to preview now before. Obviously, it's going to be before the next show, the Champions League game. And if we don't win this one, then I think we'll all be wanting Jonas. So I don't know too much about Valerenga, but they kind of sound like Arsene Wenger. So I kind of got a soft spot for them already. But I don't really know too much about them, other than they're the weakest team in the group. And we should beat them. I mean, Andreas, do you know too much about Valerenga?
No, to be honest, I don't know anything about them. I can only say last season, Brandenburgen made it to the quarterfinals in Champions League, and Valerenga is Norwegian champion. We played against Rosenborg,
Yeah.
the mini tournament, and just won 1-0. But they are not the current champion, and in the running league in Norway, Valerenga is still number one. I think they have 11. They are 11 points clear to Rosenborg, so they are much stronger than them. And we had our problems with Rosenborg, so don't underestimate them. They lost only 1-0 to Juve, their first match, but of course. Juventus is playing with only 10 players plus one influencer, Alicia Lehman called. Everybody says Valerenga will finish the group with 0 points. They are the weakest team. You must beat them. You must get the 3 points against them because it's necessary. Against Juve, it will be 2 very tough games, and the replay against Bayern Munich in December at home. It's not guaranteed that we win this. So the points against Valerenga are essential. But yeah, much will depend on Saturday. If we can turn things around and beat Chelsea, or even get a draw, but a good performance, a good match. That you see something has changed, or the team is performing as a team again, then I'm convinced that we will beat Valerenga. But if we play like the second half in Munich against Chelsea and get better by them, then I don't see us beating the Norwegian team. Then we will see a 0-0 on Wednesday. So much depends on Saturday. Let's hope we can turn things around, and then. Normally, we should beat Valerenga. It will be 2-0. Not the best match because the pressure is on us. But for this match, I have to be optimistic, and I'll be there too. So I want to see us win. I've not seen us winning this season. at Meadow Park, yes, but not at the Emirates. So please bring us bring wins for me, and yeah, I deserve it for flying over from Germany to London to watch our team. I deserve better performance and winning.
Absolutely, you do. And to be honest with you, you deserve us to beat Chelsea 5-0 and Valerenga 5-0 because you had to sit with the Bayern Munich fans last night when we were getting hammered. So that's what you deserve. And I hope the team understand that, how important it is that they perform in the next few games. And they've got to. I mean, to be honest with you, if we don't beat Valerenga, then I think we all should just give up and go home because we've got to beat them, haven't we? Let's be honest. They are the weakest team in the group. And because we've had such a bad start now, we can't do anything other than win that game at home against the weakest team. So we've got to do it. And it doesn't matter what happens against Chelsea. It doesn't matter if Chelsea beat us 6-0. We've still got to go and beat Valerenga, and I'm sure we will because we've got much better players than them. I mean, Valerenga, it should be quite exciting. A team I've never heard of. The Valerenga boys, it should be good. How do you think it will go? We should beat them quite easily, shouldn't we? Let's be honest. It should be a game where we can actually relax and not have to worry and not be too anxious. We can just enjoy it, hopefully, can't we?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Valerenga boy. Yeah, of course, yeah. Takes you back, doesn't it, a bit? But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Saturday's game will have a bearing on that. We just want to see a performance and a result. We're at home, and they played well against Juve. I didn't see the game. Yeah, Juve only beat them 1-0. I mean, it's like what we said about Koya. Do you remember we played a few years ago? They played well as well. In the end, we had to work hard to beat them. But I mean, I don't know. I think as I said, probably the game against Chelsea will give a barometer of where we are, where the players are at in all that game. If I say it'll be a good measure to see where the mental state is at after that game. But I mean, we should expect to beat this team at home. There, we won't take them lightly. So you have to respect new teams in the competition as well. But we don't want to respect them too much. And yeah, hopefully we can get a win and a clean sheet. And yeah, just hopefully we'll get a good crowd turn out for a first midweek game of the Champions League at the Emirates this season with Juve and Bayern still to come. So. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll win fairly comfortably, but again, a lot will depend on that Chelsea game and where they're at. But as I said, I'll probably go 2, possibly 3-0, maybe if we come out. It depends on that. It depends a whole lot of that. What happens in that game depends on what happens on Saturday. So I mean, let's wait and see. But hopefully, we'll get the 3 points and get our Champions League, up and running. Yeah, and Andreas going to Boca, and so it'll be good, isn't it? Where's you staying, by the way? Are you staying at Buckingham Palace for a few days?
Not this time.
Extended stay. Has the Queen invited you for an extended stay at the Palace?
The Queen's not there anymore, Amar.
Oh, so the King, I meant. Sorry, the King. Sorry.
Yeah, God rest her soul.
Yeah,
sorry, I meant the King. Sorry, I meant the King. Has the King invited you to stay for an extra few days? Who knows? Yeah.
I don't. They don't live there anyway. Then let's be honest, it's all for show, isn't it? Like most of London, really. It's a big show, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Andreas will be looked after wherever he's staying. It'll be good. The red carpet will be out as it always is, and it's going to be good. So yeah, obviously we should win on Wednesday. And do you think we'll win on Wednesday quite easily?
Oh my God, sorry, I've got totally distracted. 2-1. Beautiful boy scored the equaliser, and whoever the Greek player is. Oh, that's not so good, is it? Sorry, where were we? I got totally distracted and I don't even support England then, but no. Right, back to what time is that match on?
8 o'clock.
You're right, okay, that's good. Yeah, I'll be home. Can watch it properly.
Yeah, very much.
Right, yeah, we should really do them basically, but
yeah.
And once again, it'll be interesting because technically we should have like the B team, and yeah, give them a chance to play the likes of Rosa.
Yeah, Katie Reid.
Yeah, that's the time to mix it up a bit. I would say, absolutely. Yeah, at home with a team that are probably suddenly going to have a world class goalkeeper, as they always do. You know that's going to happen. It's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it tends to be, doesn't it? But I don't know. What's your score prediction then, anyway?
Oh, I'm going to be very brash. 5-0.
5-0. God, that's what I like to say.
That'll be totally wrong. I just got to throw it out there. Maybe
Yeah, no, I mean, it's difficult when you don't know too much about a team, really, other than the fact that, yes, okay, that, they're a good team in Norway, but, I think we'd win the Norwegian league quite comfortably, wouldn't we? Let's be honest. So I don't think we can read too much into the fact that they're so far clear. But we did play Rosenborg, as we mentioned, and that was not an easy game. We got the job done. We should have won more comfortably. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that there's pressure in that game in the sense that we lost our first game and you can't afford to drop points in your second game in a group of the Champions League or you're in trouble. But I think that we've got a lot to prove over this next week. We've got a lot to prove. I think the players have got a lot to prove. I think the manager's got a lot to prove. And I think, yes, obviously, if we beat Chelsea, then everyone's going to be on a high and we'll probably thrash Vålerenga 7-0. But if we have problems against Chelsea, it won't be quite as easy. But I still think we'll beat Vålerenga fairly comfortably. I'm going to go, obviously, without seeing the Chelsea game first, I'm going to go 4-0. I think we will. It'll be similar to the Hacken game. I think it might take a little bit of time to get going. We might need a half an hour to get a goal, but I think we'll end up beating them. We're better than them. We'll be fitter than them. We'll be.
Oh, sorry. Pinto's in goal. I just forgot that. Because he play Manu again.
Oh, God, yeah. So we might win 5-4 then. We might win 5-4 if Manu's in goal. We probably have to score 5 to win if Manu's in goal. Like he says, the other issue is strikers. They seem to be in some kind of slump, and without threat up top and pressure on opposition backline, the game becomes like strikers do seem to be in a slump. Leslie Russo's got 1 goal this season in all competitions. Steiner is yet to score. That's a worry. Your 2 strikers aren't scoring goals. I think our top scorer is Frida Marnham, who's technically a midfield player, and that's an issue, isn't it? So yes. I'm sure they'll start scoring sooner or later. They'll probably both score hat-tricks against Vålerenga. So don't worry about it. They'll soon get on, but don't worry about that. I'm sure they will. And Rattenverdi says, enough is enough. It's time for a change. Jonas out. Not quite yet.
That was very Freudian.
Let's see what happens on Saturday, shall we first? At least see what happens on Saturday. And I'm sure that, at the end of the day, I believe Jonas has earned more time. He's earned more time by winning trophies, beating Chelsea in 2 consecutive finals. And on that basis alone, I would be prepared to give him more time. I don't run the club, not my decision, but I personally would give him a bit more time if more time is needed if we have a bad result on Saturday. I'm certainly not going to get on his back, but I know a lot of other people will, and I know there's going to be there's already a lot of talk on social media, isn't there? Jonas out already. We've lost 2 games this season. We've lost 2 games. Let's remember, if we go back and rewind a little bit, I know the men's team aren't really relevant to this, but, when they sacked Unai Emery, we'd only lost 3 games that season at the time we sacked him. So, and look, maybe that was too harsh. And maybe we need to look at that and learn from that. But you know what? Let's not be hasty here. He's had this is his 3rd season, but it'd be his 4th season. He's had 3 seasons. Let's not be too hasty, but equally, we need to get the balance right. We can't keep playing like we did the other night. We can't keep playing like we did against Everton. We've got to improve. We've got the players. We should be doing better. But there you go. Let's see what happens. I personally don't want to see that change yet. Terry says, am I looking for a room in Buckingham Palace? Yeah. Maybe it's just going to be Andreas's Palace. That's what it will be. Not
Andreas's Palace.
Andreas's Palace. That's where it is. That's where we all need to stay, actually. That is definitely what we all need to stay. Terry says, I don't think Steiner's off form, but I think it's more of taking too long getting the ball forward quick enough. But yeah, I mean, that's an issue. It is an issue, but I don't think Steiner's been playing particularly well anyway. I thought the other night she was poor. I didn't think she was great against Everton when she played. I don't think she's been great all season. Yes, she's not getting the right service always. I thought against Man City she had 2 big chances that she didn't take that would have maybe eased the pressure on her a little bit. Daphne says, what do you make of deploying Beth in the middle instead of Steiner and Russo? I don't know. Obviously she used to play there, didn't she? I don't know. Is she a better bet as a centre forward than Steiner or Leslie? I don't know. Andreas, would you consider that as an option maybe if they're not scoring?
No, I think Beth seems to be overplayed or tired. So I wouldn't start her. I would give her a rest and not think about playing her as a number 9. No, for me, Leslie is our number 9, but she should stay in the box, and we must feed her with passes, with crosses, everything, and tell her it's your task to score goals, not to create chances. So this is essential. And no, not at the moment thinking about Beth, because she's not looking at her best.
I agree. She's not at her best, no. Although she still scored 3 goals this season, which is still more than Stina and Leslie put together. So you've got to consider that, I suppose. But I don't know. I think we need to be careful not to panic because we've had a couple of poor performances. We're unbeaten in the WSL still after 3 games. Yes, we've drawn 2 of them, but we're unbeaten. So, let's look at some positives. Let's not panic and think we need to change everything. We don't need to change everything. We need to make subtle changes here and there just to improve things defensively, obviously, from crosses and set pieces. And we need to take more of our chances, don't we? Because we do create stuff sometimes, and we need to take more of those chances, don't we? Because we're not taking enough of them. We're not scoring enough goals with the quality that we've got. We obviously should be scoring more goals. Roland says Jonas and Ten Hag in the same situation with the level of investment. We deserve better quality football. Don't sign pregnant players. And why is her supply? Well, she wasn't pregnant when we signed her. She got pregnant after we signed her. So yeah. I don't think that's quite the same. But yeah, I mean, Hertig, I'm not sure what's going on with Hertig actually. There's issues there somewhere we don't know about. So let's not speculate too much. She's not played enough football. And why she's still here after that, I'm not sure. But anyway, we don't know what's going on there, really, do we? Tashi says, I wouldn't want her at a 9 either, but the fact that both our strikers can't hit a barn door concerns me. Yeah, it's concerning they've not scored enough goals yet, but I say let's not look at making too many mad changes quite yet. Let's see what happens. I would stick with things as they are, roughly. Just make 1 or 2 team changes for Saturday, obviously, and then see where we are. But it's been a difficult week, hasn't it? Let's be honest. It's been a really difficult week. It's been a really difficult week for Andreas because he's gone to both the games. He's not had much to cheer, and then he's going to the next 2 games as well. So, we know Jonas does watch this show. Obviously, he didn't watch it last week because he didn't do what he should have done, and he didn't prepare us for the Bayern Munich aerial threat that Andreas warned us about. So we know he does watch the show. So if you are watching the show, Jonas, make sure this week Andreas deserves a good week, doesn't he? He deserves a good week. He deserves lots and lots of goals, lots of celebrations, lots of great moments, doesn't he? So don't worry. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't worry about the other fans in the stadium. Don't worry about anything else. Don't even do it because we need to win the game for the WSL or the Champions League. No, do it because Andreas deserves it. Right? That's all you've got to do. Quite simple. So that's what's about. So yeah, that's what needs to happen. I do quite like that comparison between Jonas and Ten Hag actually, because they both won a cup in the 2 seasons, but maybe not done a great enough job overall. So yeah, I kind of get that. That's quite good. Terry says Amanda got pregnant just after meeting Lordy. Oh, who knows? It's best not. Is it Terry really on stuff like that? It seems as though I don't know. I worked it out. I was trying to work it out once. When she had the baby, when she might have got pregnant, was it not after she scored one of them goals against Man United or somebody? I think it was after that game, wasn't it? Maybe. So, but anyway, she didn't sign. She wasn't pregnant when we signed her. She became pregnant after we signed her. I think we would have known in the. Well, you would have known anyway because she had the baby. But anyway. We could do with Amanda back actually, because she's that one aerial presence in the box that we've been lacking. So we do need her back. I've seen her out running and stuff on Instagram. So she's getting herself fit, ready to come back, which is good news, isn't it? So let's hope, Amanda, please come back quickly because we need you. We definitely need you because we need your defensive power and also at the other end as well. Although Leia got a nice goal, didn't she? The other night. So yes, it's been a tough week for all of us actually. We've had a difficult week. But the good news is the week's nearly finished and it's a new week starting and it's what a game to go into the new week, Chelsea at the Emirates. Wow. It's going to be a big, big crowd. The weather's supposed to be a lot better. And of course, the even better news is Andreas, Amar and Ange and Harry as well are all going to be meeting at the ground. How good is that going to be? How good is that game? Who's looking forward to that? I am already. I'm not even going. It's going to be good though. Is it? Andreas looking forward to Saturday.
Of course, I'm looking forward to every match, and it's crazy. But if you love if you love a club, you want to support the team and you want to be in the stadium, and that's what I want. I'm disappointed when we lose, and then a day later, I'm looking forward to the next match, and I can't wait to be at the Emirates again, and I hope for a better performance. It's always great to meet other supporters, and looking forward to both matches. But it was good to talk about everything and to get rid of
your chest. Get it off my chest. It's like therapy. It's weekly therapy. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's weekly therapy, which is what it's all about, isn't it? That's what we're here for. I mean, are you looking forward to the game on Saturday? Obviously, it's a big game, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you said I was going. I've actually got the day off, but I'm going to be watching from home because I've got a doctor's appointment at 12:30 and I couldn't really get rearranged. So I'm going to be watching that from home. I wouldn't be able to make it, but I'll watch the game on Saturday and Wednesday. And then whenever the next home game is Brighton, I think that'll probably end up being my next home game. But no, I'll just try to support the team when I can. And hopefully we'll get a positive result and then we can forget about what's happened and look forward to the rest of the season in earnest.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? I know, Ange, you're going on Saturday. Are you looking forward to it?
Yes, I am. I'm going to be very optimistic. You have to do. Well, let's see what happens. And to be honest, once the game's finished, meet up with the old crew, some new crew. Lovely. Yeah, you move on. You can't.
Exactly.
And actually, I'm not gutted. I've had to give up the Brighton ticket. It's not doable.
Friday night game.
I'd like to have seen Brighton, but work commitments, all that jazz. So give it up. Shame.
It's not ideal, is it, playing on a Friday night? Let's be honest. It's not ideal.
I would love to have been there under the lights, but ain't going to happen. Too much aggro. So. Plus, also, my daughter's birthday's day before, and we kind of organised a bit of a pub thing. So.
Okay. That's fair enough then. Jazz says Chelsea beat Aston Villa 1-0 and thrashed Palace easily, but Palace is a championship side still in terms of quality. Absolutely, yeah. Personally, I think Chelsea will drop points. Absolutely, of course they'll drop points. They'll drop points. City will drop points. We'll drop more points, but if we can beat them, then that'll be 3 points. They would definitely drop. Cyrus says the coach is the problem. Why did he change the system from what they played last season? Well, I mean, last season something needed to change because he wasn't quite good enough, was he? So, it's not quite working yet. Terry said, Ange, did England lose? Just had a text saying England fans embarrassed. Did we lose to Greece, did we?
Yeah.
We did.
We lost 2-1.
To Greece. Yeah. Maybe there should be a change. See, we should have kept Gareth Southgate. Why didn't we keep Gareth Southgate? See, be careful what you wish for in life. Do you know what I mean? Be careful what you wish for because you don't always get better, do you? You don't always get better. But anyway, England lost to Greece. That's good, isn't it? Fancy says there, let's put things right against Chelsea. Back in the team, even if Manu starts. Oh, of course, I'll back the team, until she lets in 3 stupid goals, and then I'll be screaming at the telly to get her off. But anyway, of course we'll be back in the team regardless of who plays and who doesn't play. But I would feel a lot more confident if Daphne's in goal, not just on Saturday, but every game for the rest of the season. But I'm sure Manu will still play again. I'm sure he will, because as Andreas says, the manager seems to favour her in the beat. It's going to be interesting, actually. The team selection on Saturday is going to be really interesting, isn't it? To see what changes he makes from the other night and what changes he makes from the game against Everton as well. And we've got a big week, and we've had a big week as well. Resting and rotating is what's needed. Let's see what he does. But it's going to be quite an interest. At the moment, actually, every week it's quite interesting what team's going to start. We're never really sure, are we?
No.
We're definitely not. We're definitely not sure what's going to happen against Chelsea. Tashi says your preferred start 11 against Chelsea. Well, pretty much most of the ones that didn't start the other night. No.
For sure.
Obviously, Daphne in goal. I mean, Emily Fox is going to have to play pretty much because Laura's injured. Centre backs will probably be Leah and Leia. I would imagine. I would probably go with that if I'm honest. And then obviously, I would put Steph in at left back. She's fit now. Stick her in the team from the start because she's much better left back than Katie. In midfield, I'd have Kyra in there with Leah Walty. Number 10, I would play Leslie Russo at number 10. And then I'd play Beth Mariona and Stina, and that would be my team. But I don't think Jonas will pick that team, if I'm honest. I think it's far too adventurous. I think he's going to go a little bit more cautious. Andreas, what would be your team against Chelsea?
Yeah, definitely in goal. And then in defense, Emily, Cody, Leah, and Steph. Midfield, Wally, Kyra, and Frida. And the front line, Caitlin, Leslie, and Mariana. Would be my choice.
That might be more accurate, actually. Looking at what Jonas might do, I think it's more likely to go with your team than mine potentially. But then he does watch the show, so who knows? He might listen to me more. I don't know. Amar, what would you go with against Chelsea?
Oh, I don't know. It's tough. It's just hard to see, isn't it? I mean, players need rest. Obviously, you need to. I don't know. Daphne in goal, yeah. Lotta's fit. I don't know. I always said, put best centre back pairing is Leah and Lotta. If can they not somehow fit maybe Cody and play her as a right back or something? I don't know. But I feel like Emily Fox needs a rest. She's been playing so much in the summer. Put Steph at left. But I don't know. Yeah, as you say, rest Kim maybe. Play Kyra and Leah for the middle, and then maybe change things up. Who knows? Play Leslie, Caitlin, and Rosa on the left. But I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see.
It's going to be interesting. It certainly is. Andy, who would you go with against Chelsea starting 11?
He's not going to start someone like Rosa. It's a shame because I think once she gets going, but unfortunately, that won't be that game. I think get Steph back in, definitely. Move McCabe up.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. You see the pairing, it will stay the same. Fox, goes without doubt. I think for me, it's more the upfront bit. It really is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the biggest argument, do you play Stina and then Leslie together? Technically. Yeah. I know they're not, but yeah, two of them up front, technically. I don't know.
I'd like to see it, absolutely. Tashi says, ain't no way he's benching Kim. I don't know. I think he might. I just think after the other night, he clearly needs a rest. It's obvious for all to see. And he's got to rest her. They do that analytics now on players' fitness and stuff. Surely it's going to show that she's not in the best state fitness-wise at the minute. She needs a rest. Tashi says that Rosa will come on if we're chasing the game by 2 or 3 goals. Yeah, probably. Like the other night. Although I think she came on when it was 2-2, or did she come on later? I can't remember that. I know she came over too late to have any impact on the game. Anyway, let's see what happens. Let's hope it's whatever lineup starts the game. Let's hope it's a good performance and we get a result and we'll all be happy. And we need a good week because it's been quite a sad week, isn't it, really, depressing and stuff like that. But the week's nearly finished and the show's nearly finished as well because we've been going for over 2 hours. It seems to have gone quick though, doesn't it? Which has been good. Have you enjoyed it, Andreas, on the show tonight? I know it's very late where you are because you're obviously an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, it's 11 already in Germany, but yeah, of course I enjoyed it. And as I said, it was good to talk about everything and to speak out the frustration and disappointment. It helps, and to share my opinion and hear yours. It's always interesting. Yeah, I love to be on the show.
Fantastic. Oh, actually, Emerson's put his team line up in. Actually, he's gone DVD, Fox, Lotta, Cabina, Walty, Little, Kafaji, Blackstenius, Russo, Catley. Wow, that's an interesting lineup there, Emerson. I must admit, I'm liking it.
Thank you for tuning in, Emerson. I've plugged the show, my mate Emerson.
No, it's nice to have Emerson with us again. And I say that's an interesting lineup, but I'm not sure that's what we'll go with personally. But it's your team. That's what we want to see. We want to see what your team selections are, which is good. Amar, good to see you again. Are you enjoyed being on the show again? It's been a good show, isn't it? It's not a busy one, actually.
Yeah, I missed a few this season, but it's good to be back. Hopefully, I'll be there for the rest of the season. Yeah, it's been a disappointing week, but it's good to have a pick me up like this, and hopefully we can start to play better and have a lot more to shout about. And just continue supporting our club through thick and thin, no matter what. So it's always good to be on here.
And of course, next week we can go back to Friday, can't we? Rare Friday night show again.
Yeah, Friday's much better. End of the week.
Exactly. I mean, Ange, good to see you again. Good. Have you been fun? Enjoyed it?
Thank you. And I've sat here for nearly 2 hours. That's a first. I'm such a twitchy person.
You didn't fall asleep, which is good. You didn't need a little nap, which is quite nice, isn't it? Terry says, great show again from the Fantastic Four. Come on, chat show. Appreciate waiting a thumbs up button. Indeed, give us a like before we go. I say it's been a busy old show tonight. Lots to get through, obviously, lots happening. I think Andreas needs to get out of bed as well because it's past his time now. Very late over there in Germany. We have to bear that in mind sometimes that, you know, the time zones all over the world are slightly different, aren't they? Anyway, thank you to all you guys for watching tonight. Some great comments, actually, some great questions and stuff, which was great. It's always good to hear your opinions on stuff and get your questions in and stuff like that. If you do see Andreas or Ange at the game on Saturday and on Wednesday, please say hello because Andreas loves to meet you. I'm sure Ange would love to meet you all as well. And I think you're meeting up at the outside the Armory, are you, after the game?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So if you want to meet him after the game at the Armory, please feel free to do so. It'd be great. And I'm sure that'll be good fun as well. So that'll be really good. It's going to be a great game Saturday. We're going to beat Chelsea, aren't we? Come on, let's be optimistic. We're going to beat them. We are going to beat them. It's happening. It's happening, guys. Obviously, thanks to Andreas, as always. Thanks to Emma and to Ange. We will see you Friday. We'll be back Friday. I will, of course, be here Saturday for the game. So join me for that. 1:30. It's going to be a good one. So join me for that. And I say next Friday, we'll be back at Arsenal Women's Show. It's going to be epic. Looking back on the win against Chelsea, looking back on the win against Valerenga, I'm sure Andreas will be happy next week. He'll had a good week. So we'll talk about all that as well. So join us for that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Come on, you gunners. Let's beat. Come on. Let's do it. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.